Listen to me. This is not just another word. This is a divine dispatch from heaven, and it cannot wait. Something is shifting right now, faster than you imagined, deeper than you expected. What's coming will knock. It will break through. This is not random. This is not routine. This is a spiritual emergency, and your name is on the alert. I'm stepping into your timeline, interrupting everything, because I have something to say, and you must hear every word. Don't pause. Don't scroll. Don't treat this like background noise. This is a moment of alignment, acceleration, and activation. Your future is leaning into this message. Angels are on assignment as you listen. So watch till the end, not out of curiosity but obedience. Because by the time this is over, you won't just be informed, you'll be transformed. My beloved child, hear me now. I need your spirit to fully awaken, your heart to stop running, and your soul to pay attention, because what I am saying is not another passing inspiration. This is not encouragement. This is a divine alarm. I am calling your name with the thunder of eternity in my voice and the urgency of divine timing in my tone. I have waited for this very breath in your timeline, and I will not allow this moment to be lost in a whirlwind of distractions. Heaven has bent low, not to comfort, but to confront, not to soothe, but to summon. I am not standing in the margins today. I am standing at the very center of your life, crying out with fire in my breath, shaking the foundations you've grown too familiar with, not to punish you, but to position you for the shift that is no longer optional. This moment carries the weight of destiny and the fire of decision. I am speaking from the place of eternal knowing, from the chambers of divine orchestration, where nothing is wasted and every second is sacred. And I need you to understand, this is not just a word you stumbled upon. This is not encouragement sent by chance. This is a divine dispatch from my heart to yours. This is me reaching through the veil, disrupting your rhythm, and crying out, look at me. Listen. Everything is about to change. I've seen how you've been moving through your days, half present, half guarded, trying to balance hope with realism, faith with fatigue. I've watched you wake up with a storm in your chest and smile through a soul that is quietly unraveling. But child, I never called you to live this way, straddling the line between surrender and self-preservation. I'm not just speaking to inspire you. I'm speaking throughout your existence. Because you've reached the moment where everything ahead hinges on what you choose to believe right now. The kind of belief that says, yes, Lord, even if I don't understand. The kind of faith that moves when it's uncomfortable, trusts when it's trembling, and obeys when it's inconvenient. I have placed my fire on these words. They are not comfort food. They are a defibrillator to your spirit, reviving what grief buried, what fear numbed, what disappointment hushed. This emergency is not an earthly crisis. It is a holy summons. I'm not shouting to scare you. I'm crying out to shake you free from what's numbing you slowly. This is not discipline. It is deliverance. I pull you out of passive belief into active alignment, out of cycles into calling, out of delay into divine movement. I am calling your name not with casual breath, but with eternal fire, because what I am igniting now cannot be undone. My voice is in the atmosphere. My wind is behind your back. My authority is thundering across the heavens. And child, I will not be ignored. Right now, my child, yes, in this very breath, everything in the spirit realm is moving. Heaven's winds are shifting course, and you are standing at the very eye of a holy storm. Don't wait for signs in the sky. Don't delay for confirmation from flesh and blood. The shift has already begun. It is not scheduled for someday. It is stirring now. The gears of the unseen are grinding with purpose. The clock of destiny has struck a sacred hour, and I have stopped time itself to usher you into what was written about you before your first heartbeat. This isn't a metaphor. It's a move. This isn't inspiration. It's instruction. I didn't come to offer suggestions. I came to issue a summons. And that tightening in your chest, that flicker of pressure rising beneath your ribs, that's not anxiety, it's activation. That's the emergency of a line and awakening inside you. I've waited for the precise moment when your heart would be tender enough to respond, when your inner resistance would finally yield to holy urgency. And here it is. This is it. This is that moment. I know you've heard messages before. I know you've scrolled past words laced with hope, paused at encouragements that felt nice but faded with time. But this word is different. This word is divine disruption. It is not just truth. It is time truth. Do you hear me, beloved? Time. It is the collision of heaven's decree and your heart's readiness. The shift is not something you're waiting for. It is something already surrounding you. It's in the way people have started falling away. It's in the strange tension you felt waking up. It's in the unexpected opportunities that showed up unannounced, and the old paths that suddenly feel too narrow for your spirit to walk. All of that. That's me. That's the shift whispering through the cracks of your everyday life. Don't miss it by looking for thunder when I'm speaking through tremors. Don't dismiss the ordinary just because it doesn't look like glory. I specialize in sacred subtleties. I speak through pattern disruptions. I shift destinies not with explosions, but with holy nudges that carry eternal weight. You are standing in the middle of such a moment. The ordinary is over. Your name has been called in the courts of heaven, and the scroll of your next assignment is already open. Will you receive it? Will you stop running in loops long enough to hear the voice that is calling you out? This interruption isn't rude. It's redemptive. I have broken into your rhythm because your rhythm was about to lead you to exhaustion. I halted your pace not to shame you but to shield you. You've been walking with a limp and calling it strength. You've been managing life instead of mastering your calling. But no more. Not in this season. I'm interrupting your cycle so I can introduce you to the real you. The version I always knew. Before trauma, before betrayal, before survival taught you how to shrink. You've learned to cope in chaos, but now I'm teaching you how to create in clarity. I'm not asking you to perform, I'm asking you to perceive. Look again, child. The clouds are not clouds. They are carriers of glory. The delays are not denials. They were divine detours to keep you hidden while I restructured your path. And now I'm pulling you from the background. This shift doesn't need your permission. It only requires your participation. Let your yes echo louder than your fear. Let your surrender shout over your doubts. The wind is at your back, and the angels are already walking ahead of you. Everything is shifting. And if you stay still long enough, you'll feel the ground beneath you bending to accommodate the next level of your calling. The urgency you feel isn't chaos, it's confirmation. The restlessness, the unease, the divine discontent, that's not something to medicate. That's something to listen to. It's me. I'm moving through your atmosphere with intention. I'm stirring your sleep, silencing your distractions, and removing counterfeit comforts that numb your discernment. And I will not stop until you see it, until you embrace it, until you believe that this is not just another word, it is your word, etched in eternity, arriving at the exact second I ordained. This is your interruption. This is your invitation. This is your entrance into the part of your life the enemy swore you'd never reach. And it's happening now. That pressure you've been feeling, it's not a sign of weakness. It's not mental clutter. It's not emotional overload. It's me. It is the weight of my voice pressing against your spirit like waves against the shore, demanding to be noticed. The alarm has been sounded in the realm you cannot see, and your soul is responding before your mind can catch up. I've sent ripples through your being, not to distress you, but to direct you. That tightness in your chest, that pounding in your heart when you lay down to rest but peace won't settle in. That's not stress. That's not fatigue. That's the sacred tension between who you were and who you're becoming. You're feeling the friction of transformation. It's not panic. It's prophetic. It's not breakdown. It's birthing. You not let the language of this world label your holy becoming as dysfunction. You are not breaking. You are being built. What's happening inside of you is a divine ignition. I've placed fire under your feet and oil in your hands. I've reawakened the part of you that had become too familiar with numbness. You didn't realize it, but somewhere along the way, you stopped expecting suddenly. You stopped leaning forward. You made peace with disappointment and called it discernment. But I never stopped stirring. I never stopped knocking. I never stopped activating. I let the pressure build, not to break you, but to awaken you. You were never meant to adapt to survival. You were created to reign from surrender. And now, the activation has begun. Your environment can't explain it. The people around you may not validate it. But I didn't send confirmation through them. I wrote it into your bones. I hid it in your breath. That weight you've been carrying is me, not burdening you but beckoning you. I'm calling your attention, not to your failures, but to your fire. You've been asking me, what is this I feel? And I answer you now, child, it is the drumbeat of heaven inside your ribcage. It is the sound of your spirit being summoned to stand up and take ground. No more delay. No more thinking. No more spiritual sleepwalking. I have sounded the alarm not with noise, but with inner knowing. I am waking you up from within. You feel urgency because heaven is moving in your direction with precision. The earth beneath you is pregnant with manifestation. The wind around you is whispering instructions. The people you encounter are suddenly shifting roles, and your dreams are becoming sharper, more vivid. That is not coincidence. That is the evidence of activation. I'm turning up the volume inside of you until the noise around you loses its influence. I'm not just giving you peace. I'm giving you power. And with that power comes holy pressure, the kind that bends timelines and bursts movements. So don't silence what you feel. Don't second guess what you sense. This is not emotional overload. This is the spiritual awakening you cried for. This is the divine fulfillment of what I promised in your wilderness season. This alarm cannot be snoozed. It will only get louder. I am waking the warrior in you. I am calling the builder in you to arise. I am releasing clarity in place of confusion, direction in place of delay. You are not drowning, beloved. You are deepening. You are not unraveling. You are unearthing a dimension of me you've never known before. This is activation. This is divine alignment. And I will keep stirring until you stand up and say yes to the fire I've placed inside of you. You've felt it, haven't you, child? That strange weight pressing against your hours. The stillness that doesn't feel like rest but feels more like readiness. You've noticed the atmosphere change. The way even time itself feels thicker, slower, like something is holding its breath in your space. That's not imagination. That's not fatigue. That's the fabric of the spirit shifting in real time around you. Heaven has turned its gaze. The hourglass has flipped, The sand is moving swiftly now, not toward delay, but toward divine delivery. Nothing about this moment is casual. This is not another date on your calendar. This is a spiritual timestamp, divinely etched and heaven-aligned. I have shifted the weight of time to land directly into your present, not as a burden, but as a banner that proclaims, the shift has started. The scenery will change. The wait is over. The heaviness you feel in the air is the pressure of prophecy in motion. When my word begins to manifest, it does not sneak in quietly. It comes with a weight, with a wonder, with a wildness that interrupts the ordinary. I do not arrive as a whisper when your destiny demands a roar. And this moment, child, calls for both. I have allowed the stretch in time so your spirit could grow. I extended the hour so your discernment could catch up with my movement. You asked me why things felt off, why conversations didn't land the same, why routines that once soothed you now stir a sense of discomfort. And now I tell you, because your environment no longer fits the size of your calling. The walls are closing in not to trap you, but to push you out. You were never meant to stay this small. What once felt like comfort is now cramping because my glory is expanding within you. And expansion demands evacuation of all that no longer serves your next dimension. I didn't flip the hourglass to rush you. I flipped it to remind you, this is your moment. This is the divine hour of reversal. I've interrupted the endless cycle that tried to keep you spinning in survival. I've broken the repetition that disguised itself as routine but was actually a rut. I'm not just moving in your life. I'm reordering time itself to favor your obedience. What used to take years will now happen in days. What felt like a long hallway of silence will now burst open into rooms prepared long before you were ready to enter them. And listen to me, child. I will not allow this moment to pass you by. That's why I've made the air feel heavier. The hours feel longer. It's not punishment. It's prophetic tension. You're standing in the sacred space between what was and what will be. And I am stretching the seconds so you can feel the fullness of what's coming. This is holy anticipation. It is the silence before the trumpet. It is the pause before the procession. Nothing will look the same after this, and I say that not with fear, but with fire. Assignments will emerge. Callings you buried will begin to resurface with fresh oil. Doors will close suddenly, but only to redirect you into halls I've built with your name carved into their foundation. And you will know it's me, not because it makes sense, but because it makes your spirit burn. So do not run from the heaviness. Do not rush the hour. Sit in it. Listen to it. Let it speak. Let it stretch you. Because the divine hourglass has flipped, and I'm no longer preparing you for breakthrough. I'm positioning you in the middle of it. I'm changing the way time behaves around you, because I trust you to carry the weight of this moment. Nothing will look the same, and it's because you're about to see me in a way you never have before. My precious one, the stillness that haunted your nights, the silence that sat heavy on your chest like a question too big to ask, it was never abandonment. It was never my absence. It was my presence, cloaked in strategy. You've mistaken my quiet for distance, but I was closer in the silence than in the storm. I sat with you in stillness not because I had nothing to say, but because I was letting you expand to hold what I was preparing to pour. The silence was the sanctuary where I began saturating your soul for the next assignment. I wasn't ignoring your prayers. I was soaking the ground beneath you so that when the rain came, it wouldn't just refresh, it would revive. You said, but God, you didn't speak. I waited and waited. And I tell you now, I was speaking through the very waiting. My voice was in the delay. My will was in the quiet ache you couldn't name. What felt like a void was actually a vault, one I was filling with answers, encounters, and revelations that couldn't be rushed. I don't pour until the vessel is positioned. I don't overflow until the soil hath been softened. You were never forgotten in that stillness. You were being sobered. Every unanswered prayer, I caught it. Every sigh into the darkness, I recorded it. I wasn't inactive. I was intentional. I was orchestrating alignments you couldn't see, coordinating timing you didn't understand, and protecting promises that would have been crushed under your former pace. I hid you, not to punish you, but to preserve you. And now, child, now the stillness is ending. The saturation is complete. I am preparing to pour with power. You are stepping into a season of overflow, not because you begged for it, but because you were faithful when there was nothing to show for your obedience. The quietness was the cocoon, but now the wings are forming. The silence was a setup. The strategy was to stretch your roots deep enough so the storm wouldn't shake you. And now I will pour in such measure that the ground beneath you will tremble with testimony. You'll see doors open, resources released, and answers arrive faster than you can articulate the questions. Not because you earned it, but because you endured. This pouring is personal. It's precise. It's powerful. And it's proof that what looked like stillness was actually saturation. I saturated your character. I saturated your wisdom. I saturated your hunger until it became a desperation for me alone. And now, what I pour won't just bless you, it will break others free. You will carry the fragrance of someone who stayed in the quiet chamber long enough to hear my heartbeat. You will carry the oil of someone who chose posture over performance. And the world will see not just a person, but a poured-out vessel filled with divine fire. So don't despise the stillness that was. It was strategy. And now I pour. Child, listen closely. The volume has changed. The atmosphere has shifted. I'm not whispering anymore. I'm thundering across the terrain of your soul. And it's not because I'm angry. It's because the moment is urgent. This is the hour where destiny does not linger in theory. It demands your response in action. My silence has served its purpose. My quiet was sacred. But now the silence has broken, and my voice is reverberating through everything around you. Feel it in the air. Hear it in your spirit. My thunder is rolling over the dry bones of your delayed expectations and forgotten faith. This is not a soft call. This is a sovereign declaration. The moment you've been waiting for is no longer future tense. It's present. The decision can't be delayed. The threshold can't be ignored. You've arrived. I need you to understand this. I am not raising my voice for dramatic effect. I'm raising it because the stakes are eternal. You've entered what I call a decision window, a precise, pre-appointed moment in time when the blueprint of your destiny hinges on your obedience. There are moments when I speak softly to comfort, and others when I shout to awaken. This is the latter. You've been lulled by the rhythm of routine, caught in the cadence of caution, but I've shattered that rhythm with revelation. This thunder is not meant to scare you. It's meant to strip away your hesitation. You waited for clarity, but I am delivering a clarion call. This is not a time to tiptoe through uncertainty. This is a time to step boldly into the fire of my presence. The fire will not consume you. It will commission you. Because what's at stake is not just your comfort, it's your calling. Not just your peace, it's your purpose. I won't let this moment pass without a response. I'm speaking through the thunder to make sure you hear me above the noise. I'm speaking above the chatter of fear, the static of doubt, the dull hum of distractions that have numbed your hearing. and I'm calling you to awaken. This is not the season to be passive. This is not the time to wait until you're more ready. You've asked for signs, and I've given them. You've waited for permission, and I'm giving it now, through thunder, through trembling, through truth. Destiny is not distant. It's here, standing in your room, waiting for your full surrender. I've disrupted your routine so you can disrupt the patterns that tried to keep you bound. I'm calling you out of the crowd, out of comparison, out of caution. I'm not waiting for your perfection. I'm waiting for your participation. This is the point where mountains move, not by might, not by striving, but by surrender to my thunderous word. You are standing in the center of a divine echo, my voice bouncing off every wall of hesitation you've built, until all that remains is holy decision. And once you choose me fully, once you respond without filter or fear, then the heavens will open. And not just with light, with legacy. Not just with blessing, with breakthrough. This is a thunderous moment because it is meant to shake every lesser identity off you. The thunder is not just around you. It's in you. And it is calling forth the one I have always seen, the one hidden beneath years of survival and self-doubt. Destiny is not approaching, it has arrived. And now, beloved, it must be decided. My precious child, I see you, not the version you show to the world, but the one that weeps behind closed doors. I see how you've been holding on, not with strength that roars, but with a quiet desperation wrapped around trembling hands. You've smiled when it cost you peace. You nodded when you wanted to run. You've shown up for others while secretly asking if anyone would ever show up for you. And I have watched it all, not as a distant observer, but as a near, aching father. I've been present in the moments you thought no one noticed. The trembling hands, the tired prayers, the hollow moments masked by performance. Yes, I saw it all. And child, I'm responding now. You have survived through seasons that threatened to erase your very identity. You've held on to my name not because it always made sense, but because somewhere, deep inside the brokenness, you still believed I was near. That belief, even when shaky, moved heaven. You didn't know it, but your surrender echoed through eternity louder than any sermon. Your loyalty in the lonely places was louder than the applause others received in the spotlight. And I, the Lord who sees in secret, have recorded every tear's testimony, every sacrifice as sacred, every trembling moment as triumphant. I have stored your private groanings in the vaults of glory, and I have wrapped my promises around them like divine DNA. And now, I declare with holy certainty, I am responding. I am not responding with pity. I am responding with power. I am not bringing a temporary comfort. I am bringing a turnaround. Your trembling hands will soon hold more than pain. They will carry the harvest of everything you watered with unseen faith. What others ignored, I magnified. What they overlooked, I anointed. I have not only seen your battles, I have fought in them. I've sent angels to stand where your strength gave out. I've whispered strategies while you slept, sowed strength into your spine while you dragged yourself forward. And now the fruit is about to fall. Your season of invisible endurance is shifting into visible reward. You will no longer be the one who barely holds on. You will be the one who rises, who carries, who multiplies. Let me tell you something sacred, child. Your trembling hands have touched heaven more deeply than the strongest warrior's shout. Because you chose me without applause. You trusted me with broken hope. You clung to me when nothing made sense. And that faith, the trembling faith, is why I'm responding now. This is not random. This is recognition. Not of perfection, but of perseverance. And I am bringing something into your life that no trembling and drop. I am placing something in your hands so drenched in divine fingerprints that no one will be able to deny who sent it. I am responding not just to your cries, but to your consistency. And what I bring next will silence the voices that once said, they'll never make it. Because I'm about to show them what I do for the one who held on, trembling but tenacious, all the way to glory. I need you to hear me with every fiber of your soul. You are not falling apart. You are falling into what I've been forming all along. The unraveling you fear is not destruction. It is divine design. You are not losing your grip. You are shedding the old skin of survival. You are stepping out of the cocoon of yesterday's identity, and though it feels like everything familiar is slipping through your fingers, I am the one unweaving what you no longer need. Don't be afraid of the unmaking, because, child, it's the only way I can remake you. The you that cried in secret, the you that settled for less, the you that carried shame like a second skin. Aversion is not being punished, it's being peeled away. What feels like fragility is actually freedom. This is sacred shedding. You've prayed, God, make me new, but you didn't know that newness comes through unraveling. I cannot wrap you in fresh identity while you're clinging to expired narratives. I'm not taking things from you to hurt you. I'm removing what no longer fits. And yes, I know the shedding feels like sorrow. I know it's disorienting to be in between, no longer who you were, but not yet walking fully in who you're becoming. But this in between, it's not a void, it's a vault. A sacred space where I'm weaving your identity strand by strand. I'm not rushing this process because I'm not building a costume. I'm revealing a calling. I'm not just giving you a title. I'm constructing a testimony. You may feel undone, but you're not incomplete. You are in the process of wholly becoming, and every thread that feels like it's being pulled loose is actually making room for me to clothe you in purpose. Child, you're not broken, you're being built. What looks like collapse is actually construction. You are shedding the mask of fine and functioning, and I'm wrapping you in fire and favor. The version of you that conformed to other people's expectations, that bowed to fear, that delayed destiny in the name of being realistic, that version is being exhaled from your soul like smoke clearing after a storm. And what's left? The core of who I made you to be. Apologetic, ashamed, unshakable. This is the identity that can carry the weight of your assignment. This is the version of you that will walk in rooms without shrinking, that will speak without stuttering, that will lead without looking back. So don't run from the shedding. Lean into it. Let the layers fall like autumn leaves. Let the old scripts burn. Let the former framework fracture. This shedding is not the end. It's the beginning. You prayed for elevation, but elevation requires excavation. I had to dig deeper, pull tighter, shake looser the things that kept you tied to smallness. And now, what's being revealed is radiant. What's being uncovered is holy. You are not unraveling. You are unveiling. You're not falling apart. You're falling upward. This is not a breakdown. This is a breakthrough in slow motion. So lift your hands, trembling though they may be. Lift your face, tear-streaked though it may be. Because I, your God, am not watching you fall. I am catching every piece and rearranging them into a masterpiece. The shell is cracking, but the spirit is rising. And you will look back on this unraveling and say, that's the moment I finally saw who I really was. My child, the pain didn't increase because I walked away. It deepened because the promise is pressing against the threshold of release. What you're feeling right now isn't the absence of heaven. It's the nearness of fulfillment. I have not abandoned you in this contraction. I am closer than breath, closer than heartbeat, closer than thought. I am the midwife of this miracle, and I say to you now, the gates are opening. The birth is near. The promise is crowning. You are in labor, not with tragedy, but with triumph. This is not death pangs. This is delivery pains. And while the pain may feel unbearable, know this, it's not punishment. It's prophetic. You have carried this promise for longer than you've realized. You thought the wilderness was wasted. You thought the silence was sterile. But I was forming something sacred inside you, something so weighty with my glory that it required divine timing, precise placement, and supernatural endurance. I allowed the contractions to come slowly at first, moments of pressure, pulses of pain. But now they've intensified because the promise can't stay hidden anymore. You've reached the tipping point. The crown is visible in the spirit. The heavens are groaning in agreement. The angels are standing at attention. I am in the room, not as a bystander, but as the author and finisher of what you are birthing. And I say to you, push. I know you're tired. I know your strength feels shredded. But don't let pain preach a lie to you. The enemy wants you to interpret this intensity as abandonment. But I say it's advancement. I have not gone quiet. I have gone deep. I'm whispering through the water breaking, through the breathless moments where you think you can't go on. You can. And you will. Because what's coming through you is not ordinary. It's ordained. And I wouldn't let the pain increase unless the gates were already swinging open. I don't play games with your heart. I don't tease you with false labor. When I say it's time, it's time. This pain isn't random. It's rhythmic. It's the drumbeat of a kingdom coming through your obedience. This pressure isn't a threat. It's a trumpet. So lean in. Whoosh with praise. Breathe with belief. Cry if you must, but don't quit. The promise is crowning. It's right there. And what comes next will silence every voice that told you it was too late, too impossible, too broken. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. This pain is proof that you're carrying something real, something rare, something radiant. And when you hold it, when the fullness comes into view, you'll forget the aching. You'll see why the warfare increased, why the tears felt endless, why the nights were so long. Because what I'm delivering through you is more than a dream. It's destiny wrapped in manifestation. So take my hand. Fix your eyes on me. The pain is not your enemy. It's the signal that your promise is about to be born. I need you to look again. Not with your eyes, but with your spirit. You've been interpreting the pressure as if you did something wrong. You've been asking, why does it feel so heavy, so intense, so unrelenting? But let me set the record straight. This pressure is not punishment. This is purpose pushing through pain. This is power pressing through places you didn't know had been prepared. What you're experiencing is not heaven's disappointment. It's heaven's delivery room. You are in the center of a divine emergency, not because something's going wrong, but because something is going right. I've mobilized angels. I've redirected currents. I've pulled time taut like a bowstring ready to launch you forward, because the moment has come. And you, my beloved, are the reason the spiritual atmosphere is vibrating. Heaven is not ignoring you. It's obsessed with what I've planted in you. The pressure has increased not because you're off track, but because you're standing exactly where I called you to be. The enemy wants you to believe the lie that this pressure is proof of abandonment. But child, pressure is what brings diamonds to the surface. Pressure is what breaks open the earth for seeds to sprout. Pressure is what shifts tectonic plates and carves mountains out of ground. This isn't punishment. This is promise in motion. And when you feel like everything is caving in, remember, the tomb had to close before resurrection came forth. What's around you may feel tight, dark, and overwhelming, but what's about to come through you will carry glory beyond what you've dared to ask for. The tension is holy. The intensity is heaven's indication that your life is no longer operating on a human schedule. This is an emergency in the best sense, a sacred summoning, a divine interruption. I've called every force of light into position. I've assigned war room angels to battle what you can't see, because what you carry is not casual, it's critical. You are not ordinary. You are not overlooked. You are not late. You are the epicenter of something eternal. Right now, even as you read these words, things are shifting in realms you cannot name. Chains are cracking. Doors are trembling. Rooms you haven't entered yet are being restructured with your name already spoken in them. I've cleared pathways others thought were bluff. I've routed traps meant to stop you. I've sounded the alarm in heaven. And you, child, are why the sirens are wailing. So breathe, even under the weight. Worship, even while it feels tight. Praise, even when you don't see progress. This pressure is not here to crush you. It's here to crown you. You are not buried. You are being born into something weightier, holier, more powerful than you imagine. And what makes this holy emergency different than any other? It's this: I didn't just send help. I came myself. I'm not just watching. I'm walking into the fire with you. I'm not just speaking from heaven. I'm sitting in your storm. And when I show up this close, it's not to punish, it's to promote. Let every lie fall away now. Let every weight that doesn't belong be lifted. Because the pressure is sacred, and the one who formed you is in the room, ready to show you why this moment matters more than any before it. Heaven's full attention is on you, and child, that means something glorious is about to erupt. You felt the stirring, the urgency, the movement, the undeniable truth that everything is shifting. And now I invite you to be part of how I'm moving, not just in you, but through you. When you sow into this message, you're not just giving, you're igniting the oil that spreads my fire. You're helping me reach hearts on the brink, souls in crisis, lives in emergency. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed, and I will pour back into you measure for measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I am the one who multiplies loaves, who commands ravens to feed prophets, who provides rivers in deserts, and I will not let your seed go unanswered. Partner with me now. Use the super thanks, join the membership, or give through PayPal below, and watch what I release when you move in the moment of my shift. Listen to me now, beloved. There are movements happening right now that your natural eyes have not yet detected, but your spirit has already felt the tremors. I have dispatched angels, not with hesitation, but with holy haste. They are not waiting for more permission. They are not pausing for protocol. They are already in mid-flight, streaking across dimensions, carrying weapons forged from my word and assignments laced with your name. These aren't messengers of comfort alone. They are warriors of completion. They have been given authority to break barriers you didn't even know were blocking you, to tear down walls that stood invisible to the naked eye. They are moving swiftly, precisely, silently, and their silence does not mean stillness. They are faster than fear, stronger than opposition, and more accurate than any lie spoken against you. I didn't send a whisper. I sent a wave, a surge of spiritual activity that is changing atmospheres, upending schemes, and rerouting what the enemy thought he had locked down. You've wondered why people have pulled away without reason, why certain plans fell through without warning. It's because my angels have intervened. They are removing counterfeit connections. They are dismantling deals made in shadows. They are opening gates where men said no and closing doors where compromise tried to creep in. I know you wanted signs. I know you've prayed for clarity. This is your confirmation. I'm not about to move. I am moving. The heavens are not silent. They are swirling. You are surrounded by motion, by movement, by miracles en route. Let me pull back the veil for just a moment. There are scrolls with your name on them, promises written in fire, sealed in the blood of the Lamb, timed with exactness only eternity understands. And those scrolls have now been activated. The angels assigned to you since birth have been waiting for this hour. They've stood in stillness, watching over you, weeping with you, recording your obedience in the unseen. But now they've been given the command, go. And they go, not casually, not cautiously, but with divine velocity. And here's what you need to know. They are not coming to bring survival. They are bringing shift. They are carrying not scraps, but strategy. Not leftovers, but legacy. And every step you take in obedience clears the runway for them to land with greater power. So stop praying like you're begging. Start walking like it's already been released. The help you needed has already been dispatched. The resistance is being dismantled. The backup is breaking barriers. And the barriers that didn't move before, they're trembling now, not because of your effort, but because of my authority. You're not alone in the battle. You're not fighting empty-handed. You're not standing still. You are surrounded by motion, by flames of holy assignment that will not rest until what I've spoken comes to pass. My angels are in mid-flight, and their wings are drenched in the oil of destiny. Lift your head, child. The help you've longed for is already airborne, and it's headed straight for you. My child, hear me clearly. What felt like concrete walls are now beginning to tremble. The places where you hit resistance time and time again, the doors that stood cold and unbudging no matter how long you knocked, the seasons that seemed wrapped in delay, they are now shaking at the sound of my voice. I am not whispering anymore. I am commanding. And when I command, creation responds. I don't need a key to open what's been shut. I don't negotiate with what tried to keep you out. I rip open doors that were never meant to be closed in your face. And this time, I'm not just opening them. I'm removing the hinges so they can never shut against you again. You've called it delay, but I called it divine setup. You've called it suck, but I called it saging. While you were pacing in frustration, I was preparing in secret. I've been cultivating the ground behind those doors, ranging connections, clearing out the imposters, placing the right names in the right rooms. And now the time has come. My voice has been ahead of you. My authority has shattered the resistance. The heaviness you've felt lately, that strange agitation, that sudden stirring, is the spiritual ground responding to my command. Even the doors that were sealed by generational patterns, the ones that were locked by trauma, the ones fortified by fear and shame, I'm dismantling them now. This isn't a gentle knocking. This is a divine invasion. I'm not asking for access. I'm taking territory. I'm going into the places you thought were lost to time, into opportunities you assumed were too far gone. I'm not reviving just your hope. I'm reviving what that hope was originally meant to carry. You don't need to figure it out. You need to follow my voice. When you hear me say move, you'll know it's not a suggestion. It's strategy. When you see doors opening that you didn't touch, don't question it. Step through. When invitations start arriving from places you never reached out to, don't doubt yourself. I orchestrated it. I spoke your name in rooms where your feet have not yet walked. I am shaking the foundations of restriction with a sound only heaven can generate, and it's responding now. So lift your head. Dust off the shame of delay. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't wasted time. It was a divine hold until the appointed release. And child, the release has come. The locks are breaking. The hinges are flying. The barriers are falling like walls around Jericho. This isn't random. This is rehearsal. This is divine justice at work. Everything that tried to shut you out will now witness the doors being flung open for your entrance. And you won't just walk through. You'll walk through carrying fire, authority, and legacy. This is not the end of your waiting. This is the beginning of your walking. The sound of my command is still echoing, and with every echo, another door breaks loose. Zeb forward. The way is open. Beloved, breathe this in deeply. Right now, this very moment, is more than a turning point. It's a holy intersection. This isn't just another day on your calendar. It's a divine override. I am reaching into your timeline, not as a spectator, but as the author. I see where the enemy tried to carve his lies into the fabric of your story. Words like never, not enough, too late, unworthy. He wrote them in moments of your weakness, hoping you'd believe they were permanent. But I hold the pen of finality. And I say to you now, I'm erasing his handwriting. Every lie, every label, every limiting belief that was stitched into your soul by trauma, rejection, or failure, I'm blotting it out with the ink of my blood. I'm not editing your life. I'm rewriting it with glory. You've walked through seasons where it felt like the plot of your life was stolen, where it seemed the enemy held the pen, directing your days into confusion and chaos. But child, let me correct your perspective. You never had the authority. You only scribbled in pencil. And I am the one with the eraser. I'm the one with the seal. I'm the one who decides what stays and what goes. And right now I am touching your timeline with intention. Not randomly. Not sentimentally. But strategically. I'm reaching back into the rooms where you lost pieces of yourself. I'm reclaiming the hours you thought were wasted. I'm redeeming the years that grief tried to swallow. What looked like detours are becoming highways. What felt like damage is becoming destiny. This is holy rebellion. You need to understand the weight of this moment. I'm not only changing your future, I'm healing your past. I'm not just preparing what's next, I'm repairing what was. The enemy tried to write shame across your childhood. I'm writing chosen. He tried to write forgotten in the chapters of your loneliness. I'm writing found. He etched failure over your setbacks. I'm inscribing favored. I am the God who not only gives new beginnings, but who transforms old endings. This moment is sacred because it is where I bend time itself, where what was no longer holds power over what will be. My spirit is breathing into your story, not to erase your memories, but to reframe them. You'll see where I was all along. You'll realize the pages soaked in tears were the very pages I held closest to my heart. So, child, rest your weary timeline in my hands. Let me hold the pieces that no longer make sense. You don't need to defend your past or predict your future. You only need to trust the one who is rewriting it. My fingerprints are on your narrative. My glory is your editor-in-chief. This isn't a rerun. This is resurrection. I'm not just turning a page. I'm setting fire to the chapters that were written in fear and planting new ones in faith. The enemy's handwriting is being erased. My signature is being stamped. And you will walk forward, not as the product of what happened to you, but as the prophecy of what I am doing through you. Sacred, yes. Strategic, absolutely. And it's happening right now. My child, lean in close, because what I'm about to say will shift the way you walk from this day forward. You've spent seasons being overlooked, dismissed, bypassed. You felt the sting of rooms where your voice was silenced, where your presence was tolerated but never celebrated. You've carried the weight of invisibility, not just by strangers, but by those who should have seen your value first. But I, the Lord your God, have been watching. Not only watching, working. While you were healing from closed doors, I was opening higher ones. While you were grieving over rejection, I was releasing conversations where your name was spoken, not with judgment, but with honor. You may not have walked into those rooms yet, but your name has. And I was the one who brought it there. You didn't need to network your way in. You didn't need to push your way through. I opened those doors not because of your performance, but because of your posture. I honored the way you humbled yourself when others would have retaliated. I elevated the way you served in silence, even when applause never came. I saw you praying when the lights were off and no one else was watching. That was the currency of heaven, child. That was the incense that rose before me, the fragrance that moved my heart. And so, I went ahead of you. I entered rooms where decisions are made. I entered hearts of influencers, gatekeepers, and leaders you've never met. I whispered your name, wrapped in favor. I stirred memories. I turned conversations. I redirected attention. All to prepare the recognition that will meet you like a flood, in places where you once knew only rejection. You don't have to beg for validation anymore. You don't have to manipulate moments or force connections. I'm orchestrating divine introductions, not based on who you know, but on what I've deposited inside of you. And child, what's in you can't be denied. Not anymore. Not in this season. I've placed a mark on your life that the enemy cannot erase. It's a seal of assignment, and it speaks louder than credentials. I am removing the garments of shame and replacing them with garments of glory. I'm not just bringing you into new spaces, I'm changing the atmosphere when you walk in. Where you once felt small, you'll now carry weight. Where you once felt overlooked, you'll be a voice of clarity. I've prepared seats at tables you didn't know existed. And when you sit, you'll carry me. Not arrogance, not insecurity, but a radiant authority forged in the fires of your hidden years. So prepare yourself not for popularity, but for purpose. I'm about to place you in positions where your presence will provoke breakthrough. Your story will unlock doors for others. Your scars will carry the scent of survival, and your obedience will open ancient gates. You are not walking into unfamiliar places alone. I've gone before you. I've sanctified the space. I've turned rejection into redirection. And now, beloved, you will walk in rooms not as one trying to prove worth, but as one already approved by heaven. Your name has been spoken. The route has been prepared. And I, the Lord your God, have already paved the way. Beloved, let me take you deeper. Many cry out for external miracles, for doors to open, enemies to flee, opportunities to arise. And yes, I'm doing all of that. But hear me clearly, the greatest movement isn't what I'm changing around you. It's what I'm transforming within you. This shift is not circumstantial, it's cellular. I'm going into the marrow of who you are, into the roots of your thought patterns, the architecture of your belief system, the sacred chambers of your identity. I'm not just shifting what you see. I'm rewiring how you see it. This isn't surface change. This is soul reformation. The shift I'm initiating is so deep, so thorough, that even you won't recognize the version of yourself emerging on the other side. I'm touching the places where fear nested. I'm disrupting the neural pathways that rehearsed pain like a loop. I'm healing the trauma you didn't even know was driving your decisions. This is not behavior modification. This is heart transformation. I'm going into your history, not to shame you, but to heal you. I'm walking into the vault of your memories and breathing truth over every distorted image. I'm dissolving lies that have lived like tenants in your mind, lies about your worth, your potential, your belonging. And I'm planting truth so deep it becomes instinct. You won't have to strive to believe anymore. Faith will be your reflex. Trust will be your baseline. Peace will be your home. You've been asking for life change, but I'm giving you identity change. Not a new mask, a new mind. I'm shifting the way your spirit interfaces with the world. I'm resetting your nervous system to rest in me. I'm recalibrating your expectations so they align with heaven instead of your past wounds. You've grown used to pain. You've adapted to dysfunction. But now, I'm reintroducing you to joy, not as a fleeting emotion, but as a state of being. The shift isn't only external. The real miracle is the way you will walk into the same places, but see them differently. Respond differently, be different. You'll no longer be triggered by old voices. You'll no longer bow to people-pleasing or perfectionism. I'm rewiring you for wholeness. So stop asking only for outward signs. Look inward. Feel me stirring, rearranging, rebuilding. I'm laying new foundations in your inner man, stone by stone, truth by truth. You'll feel lighter not because your load changed, but because your lens did. You'll feel stronger not because the battle ceased, but because you're no longer fighting it from a broken identity. You are not who you were, even yesterday. I am doing a new thing in you, and it begins in the places no one else can touch. This is divine surgery. This is sacred psychology. This is transformation at the level of your wiring. And when it's complete, child, you will no longer recognize yourself, but you will recognize me in you. That's the shift. That's the miracle. That's what I'm doing now. My beloved, do not misinterpret the timing of your warfare. It was never random. It was never aimless. The darkness that surged so suddenly, the confusion, the chaos, the heaviness pressing on your chest like a weight too heavy to name, all of it has meaning. The closer you got to the threshold of breakthrough, the louder the enemy roared. Not because he had authority, but because he knew he was losing access. Darkness always thrashes before it's cast out. Hell always panics when heaven begins to manifest. And child, my glory is drawing near. The atmosphere around you has shifted. It's thick with movement, heavy with miracle. You stepped into sacred territory, and that is why the warfare rose like a flood. The enemy wasn't reacting to who you were. He was reacting to what you were about to become. Don't you see it now? The exhaustion that wrapped around your days like fog, the sudden attacks in areas you thought were stable, they weren't signs of failure. They were evidence of forward motion. The enemy never targets the stagnant. He aims his arrows at the anointed. And you, child, are dripping with oil. That's why the flames of resistance licked at your heels. That's why your mind became a battlefield overnight. The enemy heard my footsteps before you did. He sensed the approach of glory, the kind of weighty, irreversible shift that rewrites legacies. And so he launched an attack. But it was too late. Because I didn't just come near. I move in. My spirit has already flooded your space, filled your lungs, anchored your heart, and no amount of darkness can withstand the light I bring. Listen to me. You did not break, you were being built. You did not fall apart, you were being fortified. What looked like spiritual fatigue was actually me stretching your capacity. I let you feel the heat of opposition, not to destroy you, but to define you. I needed you to know that the fire cannot consume what I've sealed. You've come through the blaze, and now you carry the scent of one who has seen the battle but refused to bow. That is power. That is proof. And that is precisely why the enemy panicked, because he knew you wouldn't back down this time. He saw the resolve in your eyes. He heard the worship in your weeping. He felt the shift in your spirit. And he knew his grip was gone. So don't resent the warfare. Recognize it. Reframe it. It was a signpost that the promise had already arrived. The enemy doesn't fight what he isn't afraid of. And you, my child, terrify him, not because of your strength, but because of your surrender. You've aligned yourself with heaven, and that alignment is lethal to every force that tried to bury you. The enemy's panic is proof of your power. And now, with the smoke still rising and the dust still settling, I declare this over you. The glory is here. A shift is sealed. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can reverse what I've already released. I need you to hear me not with your ears, but with your spirit. This is not a season of delay. It's a season of divine acceleration. What once moved slowly will now move suddenly. What used to take years will happen in weeks. Doors that felt rusted shut will swing open with barely a touch. But this isn't because you suddenly became more qualified or finally got it together. This is happening because my word has matured in the soil of your obedience, and now time itself must bend to what I've spoken. I am not bound by the clocks and calendars that have governed your expectations. I am eternal. And when I say now, everything in creation realigns itself to make that now happen. You've cried over the slow process. You've waited faithfully, even when it felt like nothing was moving. And now I say to you, because you remained in position, I'm releasing momentum. Not just movement, but acceleration. You will watch me collapse timelines for your sake. People will call it sudden favor, overnight breakthrough, divine coincidence. But you will know the truth. This has been years in the making, unfolding silently beneath the surface. Your unseen faithfulness has created a force field of readiness. Your patience has pressed into the soil like roots, and now your harvest is pulling on the sky. This is not random. This is response, not reaction. Response to every step you've taken in the quiet, every no you said when compromise called, every time you praised while waiting. Acceleration means I am making up for what was lost. I am restoring not just the thing, but the time around the thing. The years the locusts devoured, I'm not giving them back as memories. I'm returning them as miracles. You won't just move forward, you'll leap. You won't just gain, you will multiply. What once strained you will now delight you. And those who watched you suffer, those who doubted your timing, those who judge your process, they'll witness a pace they can't explain. Because when I accelerate something, no one can slow it down. Not people, not systems, not even your past. Especially not your past. So don't shrink back now. Don't brace yourself for more waiting. Lift your head. Loosen your grip on the old timelines you used to track your progress. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I redeem time. I override delay. And I speak now. It is time. The winds are shifty. The pace is quickening. The glory is gathering. What felt like wilderness will become wonder. and you will move, not in your own strength, but in the slipstream of my spirit. Acceleration isn't coming, it's here. Run with me, child. I've already cleared the way. I know the heat has been unbearable. I know the fire has singed your confidence, scorched your comfort, and made you question whether you'd even make it through. You've walked through seasons that felt like furnaces, trials so hot they burned through your expectations, pressures that left you breathless. And you've whispered, God, am I being punished? But I need you to hear me now, clearly and without doubt. This fire was not sent to destroy you. It was designed to refine you. The enemy thought it would take you out. But I used it to pull out the gold buried beneath years of residue, beneath disappointment, beneath trauma, beneath the masks you wore to survive. The flames didn't touch your purpose. They only burned away what wasn't part of your identity. What's left now is pure. What's left is weighty. What's left is ready. You see, refinement doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in intensity. And I love you too much to let your calling be carried by a character not yet forged in the fire. I allowed the furnace not because you failed, but because you were favored. That's the mystery many miss. The fire comes not to the forgotten, but to the chosen. And child, you were chosen. Chosen to carry a presence that can't be counterfeited. Chosen to hold an anointing that cannot be manufactured. And so, yes, you've walked through what others didn't see. You endured what you didn't post about. You praised while flames licked at your heels. You trusted me while everything familiar turned tash. But through it all, I was with you, not from afar, but right there, inside the flames, shielding your spirit, shaping your soul. Do you feel it now? That clarity rising? That inner knowing you didn't have before the fire? That's not just survival, that's transformation. What once broke you now builds you. What once made you tremble now makes you roar. You're not emerging with scars alone. You're emerging with substance. I didn't just preserve you, I prepared you. And now the gold is rising. The parts of you that are unshakable. The truths that have been fire-tested. The courage that doesn't collapse under criticism. This is the version of you that will carry nations. That will speak with authority. That will stand in storms and say, I've been through the fire, and I found God in the flames. So take a deep breath. Smell the smoke, not as a stench of suffering, but as the scent of sanctification. Let the fire finish its work. Don't run from it. Rise through it. Because what's emerging from these ashes is radiant. What's coming forth is irreversible. And what's rising in you will silence the voice that once said you'd never survive. The fire was fierce, yes, but the gold is here. And it's shining with my reflection. I've watched you long enough, silent in rooms where your voice was meant to shift the atmosphere. You've been quieted by past rejection, tamed by fear, and trained by trauma to believe that your voice didn't matter. But I never created you to be a background echo. I fashioned you with the fire of declaration in your bones. Your voice was never just for conversation. It was meant to carry revelation. And now, I am restoring it. I'm not just handing it back. I'm breathing on it. I'm reigniting the places where your words lost power because they were laced in pain. I'm untying the knots that shame wrapped around your tongue. And I'm saying to you now, speak. Speak again. Prophesy again. Pray aloud again. Declare truth again. The silence is over. The muzzle is broken. You weren't born to be muted. You were born to thunder. You were meant to carry the sound of heaven into spaces that forgot how to hope. Your voice doesn't just fill a room, it transforms it. That's why the enemy fought so hard to silence you. That's why you were attacked in the area of your expression. That's why insecurity tried to make you invisible. But I am reclaiming every syllable, every song, every sermon, every sentence that was stolen by shame. You will not shrink to make others comfortable. You will not hide to protect their egos. You will no longer believe the lie that quiet equals holy. Child, I gave you that voice, and I am holy. That voice is not a liability. It's a weapon. You've asked, but what if I speak and they reject me again? And I say to you, so what if they do? I did not assign your voice to be popular. I assigned it to be prophetic. I called you to echo heaven, not culture. I designed you to carry truth, not applause. And now, I will open your mouth in places where you once trembled. I will fill it with fire, not fear. And when you speak, hell will shake. When you declare, walls will fall. When you release what I've placed in your spirit, atmospheres will change. You will speak not just with words, but with weight. Not just with emotion, but with eternity. So stand tall. No more whispering when I've called you to roar. No more hiding behind humility that's actually fear in disguise. I am restoring your voice. And not just for you, for every person connected to your obedience. There are people waiting to be free on the other side of your sound. Chains are waiting to break when you open your mouth. Heaven is leaning in, waiting for you to agree with what I've already spoken. The silence has served its purpose. But now it's time to speak, to sing, to shout, to declare. Your voice is rising, and with it, my power will be made known. I have watched you steward the little with a heart that heaven applauds. You didn't know the applause was happening, did you? You did hear the roar from the throne room when you chose integrity over applause, when you served in silence, when you stayed consistent in hidden places. But I did. And child, it moved me. You thought you were surviving, barely holding things together, doing what needed to be done without fanfare. But I was measuring your faithfulness. Every unseen yes. Every quiet sacrifice. Every moment you gave your best, even when it looked like no one noticed. I noticed. And now the shift is coming, not because you begged for it, not because you manipulated it, but because your faithfulness made room for it. Promotion is not a possibility. It is a divine certainty already inscribed in my plans. You need to understand something sacred here. In my kingdom, promotion doesn't begin with performance. It begins with posture. And you've carried humility like a crown. You've remained teachable, correctable, willing to serve when you felt forgotten. That posture has prepared you for prominence. And this next season, it's not about striving, it's about receiving. The doors are already unlocked. The papers are already signed in the Spirit. I've already spoken your name in the corridors of elevation. The shift isn't waiting on your qualifications, it's waiting on your readiness. And you are ready, because you didn't let the little shrink your vision. You let it stretch your capacity. You let it grow your roots. You let it teach you things that fame never could. And now, when I place much in your hands, you won't mishandle it. You'll multiply it. I'm not just talking about financial blessing or increased visibility, though those may come. I'm talking about authority, about the weight of kingdom responsibility, about favor that doesn't just benefit you but becomes a shelter for others. The kind of promotion I'm bringing will make sense of the waiting. It will redeem every no. It will outshine every past rejection. And you won't have to strive to keep it, because what I give, I sustain. You've seen others rise through self-promotion, through networking, through compromise. But you waited for me. You trusted my timing. and that trust will be honored. I do not overlook those who walk upright. I do not forget the ones who stay faithful in the field. And now, I'm calling you into the palace, not as a visitor, but as one with keys. So prepare your heart, not just for blessing, but for bigger stewardship. Don't shy away when the opportunities come. Don't question if you're worthy. I deemed you worthy the moment you obeyed without recognition. I am lifting you up, not because of perfection, but because of faithfulness. And no man, no system, no demon can stop what I have sealed. This promotion has already been released in the Spirit. It's cascading now, like a wave reaching the shore. Lift your eyes. It's not far off. It's here. You've been faithful with little. Now I'm about to trust you with much. And the whole earth will see the glory I placed inside you when no one was watching. You've been faithful in secret, and now I'm calling you to release in the open. Just as I've seen your sacrifice, I also watch how you carry my word forward. When you give, you don't just bless a channel, you unlock a movement. You turn revelation into rescue for someone who's desperate to hear it. My word will not return void, and your gift helps me send it farther, faster, deeper. Your seed becomes oil that keeps this light burning in the darkness. This is not a casual moment. It's a divine setup. So now, you super thanks, membership, or PayPal below, and I will bless it, multiply it, and mark it with my favor. I know the ache you carry. I've watched you mourn things no one else knew you lost. I saw the quiet tears, the whispered prayers, the silent resignations you made in moments of deep disappointment. You let go of dreams because you thought time had disqualified them. You buried desires because you believed hope was too painful. But I am speaking now. I never forgot. I never abandoned what I whispered in your spirit. I never let go of the blueprint, even when you did. And now, I am stepping into your timeline not merely to help you recover, but to cause you to exceed. What you lost will pale in comparison to what I'm releasing. The enemy thought the losses would make you give up, but I'm turning the very ground of grief into a garden of glory. And the harvest is going to shock you. Listen closely. I'm not giving you a lesser version. I'm not handing you second best because of time past or mistakes made. I'm restoring you with interest. I'm restoring with double. And it's not just about material being. It's about the restoration of identity, joy, a voice, a hope. The kind of restoration I bring makes people marvel. It makes your enemies wonder how you're still standing. And not just standing, soaring. The years the locusts ate are being rewritten in my hand. Not just repaired, redeemed. I'm making the loss look like strategy. I'm flipping the narrative in such a way that you'll look back and say, if I hadn't lost that, I wouldn't be here. What once felt like a breakdown is becoming your greatest breakthrough. This isn't cliché, child. This is covenant. I swore by my own name to finish what I started in you. And I do not break my word. I don't tease you with visions of restoration and then leave you in the rubble. I resurrect. I rebuild. I redeem. And I'm doing it now. Even in places you haven't prayed about recently. Even in parts of your soul you forgot were wounded. I'm moving through your inner world like a flood, lifting what was buried, healing what was broken, restoring what was robbed. The enemy tried to convince you that what's gone is gone. But I'm the God of the comeback. And child, this is your comeback. So brace yourself. Life for more, loss for more life. The tide is turning. The winds are shifting. And you're about to exceed what you thought was even possible. You're not just bouncing back. You're breaking forward. And when people ask how, you will have only one answer: God did it. I'm not just redeeming what you had. I'm revealing what I always wanted to give. The waiting was never wasted. It was building capacity for this moment. And now that moment has come. Exceedingly, abundantly, beyond. Let me bring clarity to what has felt like unrelenting pressure. You've been asking, why is it so heavy? Why does it feel like everything is stretching at once? My time, my emotions, my strength. And I speak to you now as the one who knit you together and who knows your spiritual womb better than you do. This is not just a season of breakthrough. It is a season of birthing. But what's coming forth is not just a single promise. It's a movement. It's bigger than your personal prayers. It's deeper than your temporary discomfort. It's a kingdom shift that will echo beyond your lifetime. The intensity you're feeling is the contraction of something heavenly being pushed through your life into the earth. And child, you are not breaking down. You are birthing destiny. The stretching isn't punishment, it's preparation. You're being expanded to carry what can't be contained in your former mindset, your former capacity, your former rhythm. You felt like you're being pulled in every direction, but really, I've been aligning every dimension of your life to the weight of what's coming. You asked me to use you. You told me you were ready for your calling, and I took you at your word. But before I can release the mantle, I must prepare the vessel. And preparation always comes with pressure. What I'm forming in you cannot be rushed. It required the nibbed work, the painful work, the refining work. But hear me, it will be worth it. Because what you're birthing will not only bless you, it will deliver others. This movement will shift atmospheres. It will challenge systems. It will awaken heights. And it's coming through you. You've had moments where you wanted to quit, where the labor pains were too much, where silence felt like abandonment, where you doubted whether you had anything left to give. But child, you've come too far. The crown of the promise is already showing. The glory is so close it's pressing against your bones. And I am your midwife. I'm coaching you, covering you, carrying you through this. Don't be distracted by the discomfort. Focus on the delivery. You're not in this alone. Angels have surrounded your space. Intercession is rising on your behalf. And I myself have wrapped my hands around this moment. You're birthing legacy. You're birthing impact. You're birthing what no man could manufacture. Only my spirit could conceive it, and only your surrender could carry it. So please, daughter, push, son, not in your strength but in mine. Let the tears fall. Let the groans rise. You don't need to have the words. Just breathe with me. This is holy travail. This is sacred ground. And when the promise is born, it will not come out weak. It will come out warring. It will carry weight. It will shake the gates of hell. And you will know that every contraction, every delay, every sleepless night was not wasted. You weren't just carrying a hope, you were carrying a movement. And it's arriving now. I see how the battle has worn you down, not in your body, but in your mind. The swirl of thoughts, the mental fatigue, the fog that settles even when you've had rest, the second guessing that sabotages your peace. These haven't been random. This has been war. The enemy launched a strategic assault on your mind, not because you're weak, but because your clarity is dangerous to him. He knew that if you ever saw yourself the way I see you, if you ever broke free from confusion and stepped fully into alignment, you'd be unstoppable. So he attacked, not just with loud lies, but with subtle ones. Not just with fear, but with distraction. Not just with anxiety, but with overload. He hoped to drown your discernment in noise. He hoped to dim your vision with delay. But child, I've had enough. I'm stepping in now, and I'm restoring your focus. This is more than peace of mind. This is a supernatural recalibration. I am aligning your thoughts with heaven again. I am sharpening your discernment like a blade. Where there was mental fog, I'm bringing clarity. Where there was emotional clutter, I'm bringing order. You will know what's from me and what's not. You will sense what to say yes to and what to walk away from. I'm breaking the power of overthinking, of obsessive analysis, of second-guessing every decision. That wasn't you. That was a warfare trying to disconnect you from your anointing. Because clarity isn't just comfort, it's weaponry. And when you move with divine focus, hell has no counterattack. So I'm giving it back to you, not slowly, but suddenly. You'll wake up and feel it. The fog lifting, the lies unraveling, the vision returning. Job. Specific. Unshakable. And it won't stop there. I'm giving you mental stamina. The ability to hold vision without being crushed by it. The grace to carry prophetic instruction without becoming overwhelmed by the details. You'll dream again, and this time, you won't doubt it was me. You will hear my whisper in the middle of noise. You will feel me realign your thoughts in real time. This clarity will lead to confident obedience. No more delay because of confusion. No more missed moments because you weren't sure. I'm not giving you a spirit of fear. I'm giving you a sound mind. A mind governed by peace. A mind anchored in truth. A mind that knows when I'm speaking and responds without hesitation. So put your hand on your head, even now, and receive this. Clarity is coming. Focus is being restored. You are not crazy. You are not broken. You are not too Virgo. I am renewing your mind. I am silencing the storm. I am rewiring your thinking to match my perspective. And the enemy will regret ever targeting your thoughts, because now you will see. Now you will move. Now you will execute. Now you will step into rooms and discern the atmosphere before a word is said. And now you will know what is me and what is not. This is divine clarity. And it's yours, now. I know what you've been praying. I've heard every whispered plea, every journaled cry, every tea-soaked petition you dared to bring before me. You've been asking for relief, for provision, for answers, and child, I honor those prayers. But today I need you to understand something deeper. I'm not just answering your request. I'm exceeding it. You've been praying based on what you think is possible. I've been planning based on what I know is destined. And the gap between those two things is called glory. You see limitation, I see launching. You see a request, I see a ripple effect that touches generations. You asked me to fix the moment, I'm writing the story. You've held back in prayer because disappointment taught you to lower your expectations. You scaled down your hopes so it wouldn't hurt so much if it didn't come to pass. But child, I never called you to shrink. I called you to dream. I didn't wire you for small. I breathed into you for overflow. And so, while you asked me for just enough to get by, I've been orchestrating a blessing that will embarrass lack. While you asked me for a door to open, I've been building an entire room. While you asked for survival, I'm releasing revival. That's the nature of who I am. I am the God who does exceedingly, abundantly, above all you could ask or imagine, and I don't just do that occasionally. I do it intentionally. This is not about prosperity for prosperity's sake. This is about alignment with my original blueprint for your life. There were things I wrote about you before you were born, things you haven't even dared to see yet. But I'm calling you to raise your faith. to believe again, to ask bigger, because what I'm about to release will not fit inside the framework of your past experiences. It will shatter every ceiling. It will redeem every delay. And it will remind you that I never operate on your level of limitation. You've been waiting for me to match your request, but I've been waiting for your spirit to expand, to make room for what I actually have in mind. I'm about to exceed your wildest prayers, not to show off, but to show you who I've always been. So when the blessing comes, don't be surprised that it's bigger than what you prayed for. That's not me overdoing it. That's me being consistent with my nature. I don't do partial. I don't do average. I don't do minimal. I do glory. I do fullness. I do miracles that mark the calendar and redefine your identity. I'm answering your prayer, yes, but I'm doing it in such a way that you will fall to your knees and say, God, I didn't even know to ask for this. And I'll smile, because I did. And I've been waiting for this moment to exceed you. Get ready, child. You're about to be overwhelmed by more. My dear one, you've spent nights aching with confusion. You've looked at closed doors and unanswered prayers and asked, God, why are you withholding? You've watched others run ahead while you stood still and assumed something was wrong with you, with your faith, with your obedience, with your worth. But let me reveal what was happening behind the veil. I wasn't punishing you. I was protecting you. I wasn't delaying out of cruelty. I was preserving what matters most. You saw a pause. I saw a trap up ahead. You saw stillness. I saw spiritual sabotage that I refused to let touch you. You thought I was being silent, but I was being sovereign. There were rooms you wanted to enter, but I saw the snakes curled beneath the carpet. There were people you longed to partner with, but I saw the betrayal they hadn't yet spoken. There were paths you were ready to walk, but I knew how they ended, in loss, in heartbreak, in compromise. So I stood between you and the danger. And because I'm a good father, I let you be confused for a moment so I could protect you for a lifetime. You've cried over what didn't happen, but child, I've rejoiced over what didn't destroy you. You didn't miss the moment. You escaped a disaster you didn't even know was coming. That's what divine preservation looks like. And now, with time having passed, with some healing under your belt, you're beginning to feel it. The peace that doesn't make sense. That's not just your emotions catching up. That's me validating your journey. That's me saying, yes, I was there the whole time. A delay wasn't punishment. It was a pause long enough for me to fortify your soul, to close the cracks the enemy could have used to break you later. I let the relationship end. I let the contract fall through. I let the door remain shut. Not because you weren't ready, but because the environment wasn't ready for the weight of who you are becoming. And I love you too much to put you in a space where your gift would be exploited but your soul left unguarded. So hear me. What you saw as loss was me covering you. What felt like rejection was me redirecting you. And what looked like delay was me preserving something far greater than the opportunity. I was preserving you. And now, as the fog lifts, as the revelation settles, I want you to look back not with regret, but with reverence. You made it through the season of silent protection, and now you will walk into the season of public restoration. What's coming next will not just replace what you lost. It will reward your endurance. Because you didn't rush me. You didn't force the door. You trusted my no. And now you will understand. Every delay was a divine act of love. I want you to hear me clearly in this moment. What feels like a crisis is not a catastrophe. It is calibration. The pressure you're under, the urgency pressing against your ribs, the fire that's burning hotter than before. They are not proof that you're failing. They are evidence that destiny is catching up with you. You're not behind schedule. You never were. You were being stretched, refined, aligned, moved into position. And now, the emergency is not a danger. It's God's timing saying, enough delay. It's time. So stop seeing this as a storm to survive and start seeing it as a launch pad for what's next. You've asked me why now. The answer is simple, because you're ready. Because the days of seasoning are over. Because everything you endured, every lonely night, every whispered prayer, every tear shed in secret, has cultivated capacity. And now your capacity is needed to contain what I'm bringing. The delay wasn't detour. I was building muscle in your faith, depth in your character, clarity in your vision. The emergency comes when preparation meets opportunity. And you're in that intersection now. What I've been writing in the pages of heaven is aligning with the clock of earth. Time has bowed to my word whispered to you long ago. And now, it must move in your favor. The enemy will try to frame this urgency as something gone wrong. He'll whisper that you misstepped, that you're late, that you aren't enough. But I tell you, those lies are cheap echoes of his desperation. This emergency is not deficiency. It's divine dislocation from what no longer fits. It's a pressing out of the old so you can step into the new. It's not that you miscalculated. It's that my hand is now orchestrating the leap beyond your own formulas. So don't flinch under this pressure. Don't reduce your faith to fear. Stand firm. You are on the brink, on the verge, at the edge of what many have prayed for but few have entered. The emergency is not a threat. It's a declaration. Your moment has come. When the breakthrough lands, and it will, you'll see that all those moments of waiting were preparing the way. You'll look back and realize you never missed it. You didn't run out of time. You were running ahead in the realm of my spirit, moving while the world perceived you standing still. This brink you stand on is sacred, because you are being launched, not into more struggle, but into your assignment. Not into more delays, but into your destiny. Not into more heartbreak, but into healing. So raise your head. Fix your gaze. The emergency is the signal. The emergency is the portal. And you, my child, are walking through. My dear child, lean in, because what I'm about to say matters more than any promise you've ever held. Everything I've spoken over your life is no longer just spoken. It is activated. The words I deposited in dreams, in whispers, in visions, in quiet nights, they are no longer dormant. The scrolls I've written with your name, the assignments I've whispered, the covenants I signed, they are all in motion now. The delay is over. The season of waiting is ending. Heaven is no longer pausing. It's advancing. And my word is not going back into the invisible. It's being released. It's coming to you. You may not see all of it yet. I know. The room might feel quiet. The shift might look slow in your flesh. But child, that's what faith is for. Believing without seeing. The engines of heaven are firing. The currents of my spirit are pushing. The armies of angels have been unleashed. The molecular shift has been triggered. You, my precious one, are walking in the center of a divine acceleration. And once it begins, it will not be delayed again. What you held in your spirit, what you whispered in your secret hour, what you sighed in your prayers, it's now on the move. And not because of your effort, but because of my authority and my power working in your behalf. Let your heart rest, even amid the tremors. Let your spirit stay anchored. I know the storms have tested your resolve. I know the enemy tried to convince you to give up. But I say to you, not today. Today is not for surrender. The day is for readiness. Because what's coming will demand your strength, not your striving. What's coming will require your alignment, not your performance. Everything I've spoken over your life, the dreams you thought were too big, the purpose too lofty, the vision too distant, they are being released from the realm of possibility into reality. Heaven is no longer idle. Heaven is on the move. And you are the vessel through which my word will walk. So stand tall, beloved. Don't doubt. Don't shrink. Don't question the signs or wait for more confirmation. This is not another suggestion. This is a summons. Answer it. You've been prepared. You've been stretched. You've been refined. And now everything is in motion. Glory is aligning. Paths are clearing. Doors you prayed for are swinging open. Conversations are shifting. Moments you thought lost are being returned. Heaven is not distant. Heaven is not quiet. Heaven is not holding back. It is surging toward you. And with it, your destiny is coming alive. To breathe deeply. Believe secretly. Move faithfully. For everything I've spoken over your life is now in motion, and it will not be delayed. Heaven is on the move, and my hand is on you. I need you to understand this moment, not from the lens of your fear, but through the eyes of heaven. The trembling in your spirit, the unease you haven't been able to shake, the feeling that something is about to break open. It's not anxiety. It's not emotion. It's not your imagination. It is the sound of transition. And this transition is not small. It is not subtle. It is a crossing over. Everything you've walked through, the delays, the detours, the deep nights of wrestling, has led to this, the threshold of transformation. You are not circling anymore. You are crossing. You've been here before, the edge of breakthrough. But this time is different. This time, there's no turning back. Because what I've done in your heart is irreversible. The shift has already begun. And now, even your surroundings are starting to feel too tight. That's because the version of you that was built for the last season is no longer fit for the one ahead. You are expanding. You are evolving. You are shedding the skin of survival and stepping into the strength of your true self, the one I saw before the world ever named you. This is why everything feels unfamiliar. This is why old comforts no longer satisfy. This is why people around you don't recognize you anymore, because they are looking for who you were. But I've been forming who you are becoming. Don't be afraid of the disorientation. It's what happens when heaven shifts the scenery. You're walking into territory you haven't charted, but I have. I've already walked the path ahead of you. I've gone before you with fire and cloud. I've cleared out what you couldn't see. I made space for your steps. And yes, it will feel like you're leaving things behind, because you are. But not everything lost is a loss. Some things were meant for the wilderness, not the promise. Some relationships, mindsets, routines, they were only provision for the journey, not companions for the inheritance. Let them go. You cannot cross over carrying weights I never gave you. You must travel light. You must travel with trust. The shift you're sensing is not only for you. It's generational. It's prophetic. It's divine. The decisions you make now will echo forward. The alignment you choose now will shape what flows through your bloodline. That's why the warfare has been so intense. The enemy doesn't fear your past. He fears your crossing over. He fears the version of you that's rooted, anointed, bold, and obedient. That version is rising now. That version is not trying to fit in. That version is built to occupy. You're not just entering a new season. You're entering a new dimension, a new realm. And in this place, the rules are different. The favor is heavy. The vision is clear. The fruit is supernatural. And the authority is undeniable. So step forward, child. Step boldly. I have gone before you. The shift is me. The change is me. The unsettling is my spirit pulling you out of the familiar into the fulfilled. Do not fear what looks different. It's confirmation that you're in motion. You're crossing over. You're stepping into prophecy. You're walking into prayers long bearing. You're coming into alignment with the assignment. And everything is about to change. This is your Jordan, and the waters will part when you step. Oh, I am with you. Now that you've crossed over, don't stop moving with me. This isn't the end. It's the activation. What you sow today carries the word that changed your life to someone else's breakthrough. I am sending this message across borders, through barriers, into homes you'll never see, and I want you to help me carry it. Those who sow with tears will reap with joy. That's not just a verse, it's your promise. When you give, you release rivers where deserts once ruled. When you sow, you place fuel on the altar of my fire. Move now. Sow into this emergency moment through super thanks, membership, or PayPal, and I will do more than returning. I'll multiply it into legacy. And as you move, pause for a moment. Before you go back to the noise, listen. Because what I'm about to say next is for the part of you that's been running on empty. My child, come closer. Silence the noise around you for just a moment. I know the world is shouting for your attention. The endless notifications, the urgent headlines, the constant pressure to keep moving. But my voice is not in that whirlwind. It is not in the crashing thunder of the world's chaos. Listen. Can you hear it? I am the still, small whisper that cuts through all of it. The quiet truth that your soul has been longing to hear. Lean in, for what I am about to tell you is an emergency for your spirit. Everything is about to change. For too long, a spiritual slumber has settled upon the hearts of many, a comfortable fog that has dulled your senses and quieted your spirit. You have felt it, haven't you? That feeling of going through the motions, where your faith became a routine rather than a relationship. But now feel the shift. With my own hand, I am lifting that veil. This is your awakening. I am calling you out of the shadows of complacency and into the brilliant light of divine awareness. Do not mistake this call for a reason to panic. The world will offer you plenty of that. No, this is a summons, an urgent invitation to open your spiritual eyes and see what is truly happening. I am shaking everything that can be shaken. Look around you. The foundations you once thought were solid rock are beginning to feel like sand. The systems you trusted, the securities you built your life upon, they are trembling. I am allowing this, not to bring you to ruin, but to reveal what is eternal. This is not an act of destruction, but one of clarification. When the dust settles, you will see with perfect clarity what cannot be shaken, my love, my kingdom, and your place within it. The season of passive faith is over. The time for a faith that is merely a Sunday comfort, a convenient afterthought, has come to an end. This new era I am ushering in demands an active, bold trust, a trust that steps out of the boat when I call, a trust that believes my promise even when circumstances scream the opposite. This is the faith that will not only survive the shaking but will thrive within it. I need you to understand the lateness of the hour. My timeline is not your timeline, my ways are not your ways. You feel time accelerating, days blending into one another, a sense of urgency rising in your spirit. That is my spirit confirming the season you are in. Do not dismiss it. Do not be lulled back to sleep by the deceptive comforts of the world. The hour is late, and I am calling my children to awaken, to prepare, to stand ready. This is not a threat, but a promise that I am moving, that my plans are unfolding, and that you have a critical role to play. Listen to me now. Your awakening begins in this very moment. Perceive it. As the world around you trembles, I am drawing your attention inward. Look past the headlines, past the noise, and into the quiet chamber of your own heart. For the great shaking is not only external, it is deeply personal. I am now sifting the hearts of all who call upon my name, and this is a moment of profound, loving purification. You have learned so well to maintain appearances, to present a version of yourself that is strong, put together, and faithful. I see the mask you wear for the world, the careful smile that hides the exhaustion in your soul. I see you in the quiet moments when the mask comes off, when you are alone with your doubts and your weariness, wondering if you are truly enough. You have been measuring your spiritual life by what others can see, but I am looking deeper. I am looking past the outward service and into the hidden motives, into the very reason why you do what you do. Are you serving for applause, for acceptance, or out of a pure, unadulterated love for me? This is a time of separation, my child. A gentle but firm separation between those who have built their faith on performance and tradition, and those who are anchored in spirit and in truth. Feel the fire of my presence now, not as a force of condemnation, but as a refining flame. This is the fire that burns away the dross, the impurities that have weighed you down for far too long. That knot of anxiety you carry in your stomach about what others think of you. Let my fire consume it. That subtle pride that whispers you can handle things on your own. Let it turn to awe. The fear of being misunderstood, of being seen as weak if you are truly vulnerable. Give it to the flames. This is not for your harm. It is for your freedom. I am burning away everything that is not truly you, everything that hinders you from walking in the fullness and liberty I have destined for you. I give you this urgent command. Do not waste your precious energy judging the sifting process you see in others. It is easy to look at your brother or sister and point out the impurities you perceive in them. But their heart is my responsibility, not yours. Your focus must be on your own. Bring your heart to me, openly and honestly. Do not hide the parts you are ashamed of. Show me your fears, your compromises, your hidden resentments. It is in that place of raw honesty that my grace can do its most powerful work. In this new era, the only foundation that will stand firm is one of true, undivided allegiance to my kingdom. A faith for convenience will crumble. A faith for show will be exposed. But a heart that is wholly and truly mine, that is a fortress that can never be breached. Allow me to sift you, to purify you, so that all that remains is the unshakable, authentic, and powerful faith I placed within you from the very beginning. Now, lift your eyes from the inner sifting of your heart and look at the world around you. The systems of man, the very structures in which you have placed your security, will prove to be nothing more than shifting sand. You have felt this, haven't you? That rising sense of instability, the feeling that the ground beneath your feet is no longer solid. You look at the number in your bank account, and a knot of fear tightens within you. You watch the news, and the political certainties you once relied on dissolve into chaos. You see the social comforts you took for granted becoming fragile and uncertain. This is not your imagination. This is the beginning of the collapse of worldly security. I am allowing this, not to destroy you, but to deliver you. For too long, you have tried to build your house on two foundations, one foot on the rock of my kingdom, and the other on the sinking sand of the world's systems. But the time is coming when you must choose. I am calling you now, with great urgency, to transfer your dependence. Move your trust from the economy of this world to the economy of heaven. The world's economy is built on principles of scarcity, fear, and human effort. It tells you that your value is tied to your productivity and your security is in what you can accumulate. But the economy of heaven operates on a different law entirely. It is built on my abundance, my faithfulness, and your trust. Your true security has never been in what you possess, my child. It is, and always will be, in who possesses you. When your identity is fully rooted in me, the rise and fall of stock markets cannot shake you. When your provision comes from my hand, the loss of a job cannot break you. This collapse is a severe mercy, designed to strip away the false securities you have clung to, so that you will finally see with unveiled eyes that I am your one, true, and unfailing source. I am your provider, your Jehovah Jireh. So, what do you do when the winds of change begin to howl and the foundations of the world begin to crack? You do not panic. You build. Right now, in this very moment, make the conscious decision to build your life entirely upon the rock, which is my unshakable word. When the world screams scarcity, open my word and anchor your soul in my promises of provision. When fear about the future tries to paralyze you, declare my promise that I have plans for your good and not for your harm. Building on a rock is not a passive activity. It is an act of defiant faith. It is choosing to believe my report over the world's report, every single day. The storm is coming, but for those whose house is built on me, it will be a storm they can withstand. It will be the very thing that proves the unshakable nature of the foundation upon which they stand. Do not fear the collapse. See it as your invitation to true security. As the false securities of the world crumble, something else is happening simultaneously. A great unveiling is taking place. My light is penetrating the darkest corners, exposing the secrets and dissections that have been hidden for generations. The lies whispered in the secret chambers of power, the corrupt dealings conducted in the shadows, the deceit that has propped up the very systems you are now seeing falter, all of it is being brought into the open. What hath been spoken in whispers will indeed be shouted from the rooftops. You will feel disoriented at times, confused by the sheer volume of conflicting information. The enemy's greatest tool in this hour is confusion, to flood your mind with so many theories and half-truths that you become paralyzed, unable to discern what is real. But hear me, my child. I have not left you defenseless in this storm of dissection. My spirit of truth is moving more powerfully than ever before to bring clarity and divine discernment to my children. I am giving you a spiritual filter. As you draw close to me, as you saturate your mind in my word, you will begin to see things as I see them. You will be able to distinguish the ring of truth from the subtle dissonance of a lie. You will see the true nature of the spiritual battle that is raging, not a battle of politics or ideologies, but a battle for the very souls of men. You will see the fear, the greed, and the lust for power that animates the enemy's puppets on the world stage. Your first reaction to this unveiling might be dismay, even fear. The darkness being revealed will be deeper and more pervasive than you imagine. But I command you, do not be dismayed by the darkness. Instead, rejoice that the light is exposing it. Think of it this way: you cannot clean a room until you turn on the light and see the mess. The exposure of evil is not a sign of its victory. It is the first step toward its defeat. My light is uncovering the rot so that it can be dealt with, so that healing can begin. Your role in this is not to be a spectator caught in fear, but an active participant armed with truth. I am equipping you right now to distinguish between my voice and the voice of the great deceiver. My voice will always lead you to peace, to hope, and to love. The voice of the enemy will always lead you to fear, to division, and to despair. Tune your ear to my frequency. Listen for my whisper. It is your greatest weapon and your surest guide through the confusion of these times. With this great unveiling of truth, both in the world and in your own heart, comes an urgent and non-negotiable response, a call to radical repentance. This is not about feeling a vague sense of guilt or a fleeting sorrow for your mistakes. This goes much deeper. I am calling you to turn. Turn away from the subtle compromises that have slowly, almost imperceptibly, entangled your heart and mind. You know what they are. That habit of gossip you disguise as concern. The small white lies you tell to avoid discomfort. The secret indulgence you think no one sees. The way you nurse a grudge while presenting a face of forgiveness. These are the little foxes that spoil the vine, the subtle poisons that have weakened your spiritual immune system. The time for tolerating them in your life is over. I am calling for a deep, authentic repentance, a change of mind that leads to a change of direction. It is not enough to be sorry for the consequences of your actions. I desire a heart that is grieved by the action itself, by the fact that it has created distance between you and me. This is the moment to be brutally honest with yourself and with me. What are the idols you have clung to? An idol is anything you look to for the security, comfort, or identity that should only come from me. You have made an idol of your comfort, arranging your life to avoid any and all hardship. You have made an idol of others' acceptance, changing who you are to be liked. You have made an idol of self-reliance, taking pride in your ability to handle life on your own, only calling on me as a last resort. Lay them down. Dethrone them from your heart. A broken and contrite heart, a heart that comes to me with no excuses and no justifications, is the most beautiful offering you can bring. It is the fertile ground where my grace can flow, where true transformation can finally begin. This is your moment of cleansing. I command you now, in the authority of my name, to cleanse your hands and purify your hearts. Let go of the double-mindedness that has had you trying to serve both me and the world. You cannot. Choose this day whom you will serve. Do not be afraid of what you will find when you look within, because my forgiveness is not a trickle. It is a mighty, rushing river. It is ready and waiting to wash clean every stain, every regret, every failure. There is nothing you have done that is beyond its reach. But you must step into it. You must turn away from the sin and turn back to me. This is not a suggestion, my child. It is an emergency call. Your spiritual survival in the days ahead depends on a heart that is swept clean and fully, unreservedly, devoted to me. My child, we have just begun to clear the sacred ground of your heart. To walk away now would be to leave my spirit waiting, grieving the full healing and freedom I long to give you. Do not wound me by stopping here. There is so much more I must entrust to your soul. As you cleanse your own heart through repentance, there is another critical work that must be done. The changes that are coming will require my people to stand united, and unity is utterly impossible where unforgiveness reigns. Therefore, I am giving you not a suggestion, but a divine mandate. You must forgive, and you must forgive deeply. I am commanding you, right now, to release every single debt of offense that you are holding against another person. As you hear these words, I know that faces and names are coming to your mind. The friend who betrayed your trust. The family member whose harsh words cut you to the core. The person who took advantage of you, whose actions left a scar on your soul that has never fully healed. You have held on to these wounds, replaying the injustice in your mind, perhaps even believing that your anger is justified. But you must understand a profound spiritual truth. Unforgiveness is a prison, and you are both the prisoner and the jailer. You think you are punishing the other person by holding on to your bitterness, but the only person you are truly harming is yourself. It is a heavy chain that you have wrapped around your own heart, and it is preventing you from moving forward into the freedom and blessings I have for you. The enemy loves nothing more than to see my children bound by resentment, because he knows it gives him a legal foothold in their lives. I am giving you the key to break free from that prison today, and that key is forgiveness. It is not a feeling, it is a choice. It is a decision you make in obedience to me, regardless of whether the other person deserves it or has even asked for it. My mercy toward you is not a small thing. I have canceled an unpayable debt of sin for you through the sacrifice of my Son. Your ability to fully receive and walk in the reality of that mercy is directly linked to your willingness to extend it to others. You cannot drink deeply from the river of my forgiveness while refusing to let even a trickle flow through you to someone else. Let my love be the solvent that dissolves the hardened places of resentment in your soul. I know it hurts. I am not minimizing your pain, but I am asking you to hand that pain, and the person attached to it, over to me. In your heart, right now, say their name. See their face. And then, as an act of your will, speak these words: I release you. I forgive you. And I hand you over to God. Let me handle the justice. Your job is to be free. The days ahead will require you to stand shoulder to shoulder with your brothers and sisters. You will need each other. And you cannot stand united if your heart is at war with the very person standing next to you. Release them now. Your freedom and the unity of my body depends on it. My child, in the quiet moments of your day, when the noise fades and you are left alone with your thoughts, I hear the question that rises from your soul: am I enough for what is coming? You look at the shaking world, you feel the urgency of the hour, and a sense of inadequacy washes over you. You compare yourself to others who seem stronger, more gifted, more spiritually mature, and you think, I could never do what they do. I don't have what it takes. You feel your own weakness, your impatience, your recurring fears, and you wonder how you could possibly be useful in such a critical time. Let me speak directly to that feeling of being unprepared. You are right. In your own strength, you are not enough. But I am not calling you to operate in your own strength. I am releasing a new anointing for this new era, and it is going to change everything. Forget what you have thought an anointing is. It is not a spotlight for a stage. It is not a platform for fame or a key to earthly fortune. The anointing I am pouring out now is not for the proud, but for the humble. It is not for the self-sufficient, but for those who know they are desperately in need of me. Think of it like this. It is like cool, soothing oil being poured into your dry, cracked hands. It is not for show. It is to make you useful, to heal your wounds, and to enable you to do the work I have called you to. This is an anointing for supernatural resilience. It is the spiritual strength that will enable you to get back up after life has knocked you down, not with a grimace of determination, but with a quiet confidence in me. It is an anointing for a love that defies human logic, a love that empowers you to be kind to that difficult coworker, to forgive that family member who wounded you, to serve without any need for recognition. This anointing is for the hidden places, for the daily grind of a life lived in faith. I will give you divine strategies, not just for the world's great problems, but for the intricate challenges of your own life. You are worried about your finances. In a moment of quiet prayer, I will drop a thought into your mind, a solution, an idea, a new path that you never would have considered. You are facing a broken relationship. I will give you the precise words to speak that will bring healing and not more strife. My power will not be a loud explosion that you see from a distance. It will be made perfect right in the middle of your greatest weakness, that short temper you struggle with. When you surrender it to me, it will become a place where my patience is displayed. That anxiety that plagues your mind, it will become the very backdrop against which my peace shines most brightly. This is how you will walk in signs and wonders. The greatest wonder to a watching world will not be a parting of the seas, but a heart transformed, a life that walks in peace amidst chaos, a person who loves their enemies. This is the testimony of my kingdom. So how do you receive this? You make space for it. Consecrate yourself to me. This doesn't mean becoming a monk. It means turning off the television to spend 10 minutes in silence with me. It means fasting from the endless scrolling of negative news to feast on my word. Make room for me, my child. I am ready to fill you to overflowing. I know that for some of you, the word church brings a complicated mix of feelings. You have sat in a beautiful building, surrounded by people, and felt utterly and completely alone. You have listened to sermons that felt disconnected from the raw reality of your life. You have seen performance in politics where you longed for presence and authenticity. You have felt like a spectator in a weekly show, and your soul has grown weary of it. Hear me now, for this is a word of hope for you. I am dismantling the man-made traditions and religious systems that have hindered my true body. The emergency of this hour requires a different kind of structure, one that is not rigid and brittle, but alive and fluid. I am redefining what it means to be my church. First, you must understand this. The church is not a building you go to. It is a living, breathing organism that you are. It is the collective body of my children, interconnected like the branches of a vine, all drawing life from me. A profound shift is happening, a move away from performance-based religion and into authentic, relational intimacy with me and with one another. The pressure to look perfect, to have all the right answers, to hide your struggles, I am releasing you from that burden. My true church will be a place of honesty, a spiritual hospital where the wounded can come for healing, not a museum where saints are put on display. The lines between clergy and laity, between the professional minister and the ordinary believer, will become increasingly blurred, because I am empowering every single one of my children for the work of the ministry. Your workplace is your ministry. Your kitchen table is your altar. Your neighborhood is your parish. You do not need a title or a pulpit to be a powerful minister of my love. In the days ahead, you will see the rise of small, agile, and spirit-led communities of believers. They will gather in homes, in coffee shops, in parks. These small groups will not be a secondary program. They will be the very heart of the church. They will become fortresses of my presence, spiritual bunkers where my people find refuge, strength, and genuine fellowship. In these communities, you will not be an anonymous face in a crowd. You will be known. You will share meals. You will confess your sins to one another. You will bear each other's financial and emotional burdens, and you will pray with a power that shakes the darkness. The world will not recognize my bride by the magnificence of her structures, but by the magnificence of her love. They will see how you care for one another, how you forgive offenses, how you love the marginalized and the broken, and they will know that I am real. This is your invitation. Stop waiting for the perfect church to appear. Be a church. Find 2 or 3 others who are hungry for this same reality. Start today, right where you are. Your simple act of authentic fellowship is part of my grand redefinition. My beloved, I want you to reach back in your memory. Think about that dream, that promise, that calling I whispered to your heart years ago. Do you remember it? It was that quiet, persistent knowing in your spirit. The book you were supposed to write, the business you were meant to start, the broken relationship I asked you to reconcile, the mission I called you to. For a season, it burned brightly within you. But then, life happened. Discouragement set in. The dream got buried under layers of practicality, responsibility, and disappointment. You looked at the obstacles and concluded it was impossible. You looked at the calendar and decided you had missed your chance. I am speaking to you today to declare that you are wrong. The dream is not dead. It was only dormant. And the season of its fulfillment is now upon you. A divine acceleration is being released upon my plans. What once seemed a lifetime away is now at your doorstep. Things that would have taken years of striving in your own strength will now come to pass in a matter of months, even weeks, as you align yourself with the rushing wind of my spirit. You feel it, don't you? A holy restlessness, a sense that the time for waiting is over. That is me, stirring your spirit. But with this acceleration comes a warning. You must not procrastinate. When you hear my instruction to move, you must move. The enemy's primary tactic against this acceleration is to sow seeds of delay in your mind. He will whisper, "You're not ready yet. You need more trading, more money, more confirmation." He will try to paralyze you with the fear of failure, the fear of what others will think, the fear of the unknown. You must recognize this for what it is, a strategy to make you miss your moment. I will not ask you to do something without also giving you the grace and the resources to do it. Your job is not to feel perfectly ready. Your job is to be obediently willing. I am aligning circumstances for you even as I speak. I am moving on the hearts of people you have yet to meet. I am opening doors that you thought were permanently sealed, doors that no man can shut. This is your time to step out of the boat. The boat is your comfort zone. It is your predictable routine, your stable income, your carefully constructed life that minimizes risk. It feels safe, but nothing truly alive can grow there. I am standing on the water, and I am calling your name. That first step will feel terrifying. It will defy logic. Your mind will scream at you to stay where it is safe. But your spirit knows that your destiny is out on the water with me. The power of your simple, obedient yes in this season is greater than you can possibly comprehend. One small step of faith will trigger a cascade of divine events. It is time. Stop analyzing. Stop waiting for all the lights to turn green. A dream I gave you. It was not a fantasy. It was a preview of your destiny. Now, take the first step. I will hold you up. As this divine acceleration unfolds, and as the world systems continue to shake, the enemy will launch an all-out assault on your mind. His most potent weapon is not an army, but an atmosphere, a suffocating spirit of fear. He will seek to paralyze you with anxiety about the future. I want you to listen to me very carefully. That knot of dread you feel in the pit of your stomach when you watch the evening news, that is not from me. That racing heart you experience at 3 in the morning as you worry about your children, your finances, or your health, that is not my voice. That looming, nameless sense of impending doom that tries to rob you of your joy, that is a lie from the father of lies. You must know your enemy, but more importantly, you must know who you are in me. I have not given you a spirit of fear, but one of power, of love, and of a sound, disciplined mind. Fear is an illegal squatter in the territory of your soul, and you have the authority to evict it. I am giving you a practical, daily strategy for this battle. You must anchor your soul in my promises. Fear and faith cannot occupy the same space in your mind at the same time. You must choose which one you will feed. When a thought of fear enters your mind, what if I lose my job? You must immediately and intentionally counter it with one of my promises. My God will supply all my needs according to His riches in glory. When anxiety about your family's safety tries to grip your heart, you must declare, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear Him, and He delivers them." This is not positive thinking. This is spiritual warfare. You are taking your thoughts captive and making them obedient to Christ. You must make a conscious choice every single day to trust me more than you trust the frightening reports of the world. Trust is not the absence of questions. It is the choice to believe in my goodness even when you do not have all the answers. My perfect love is the ultimate antidote to fear. But you must immerse yourself in it. Fear thrives in the shadows, in the places where you feel distant from me. The solution to fear is not to focus on the fear, but to draw nearer to me. Make my presence your dwelling place. Turn off the noise and sit in the silence with me. Put on worship music and let my love wash over you. Open my word and be reminded of my unchanging character and my unfailing love for you. Fear is a feeling, but my love is a fact. And facts are more powerful than feelings. I hold your future, every moment, every breath, every detail, in the palm of my hand. My plans for you are for your ultimate good, for a future and a hope. Let this truth sink deep into your spirit. Breathe it in. Let it be the anchor for your soul in the coming storm. I am with you. You have nothing to fear. I have just armed you with the secrets of my anointing and the acceleration of my hand. Would you now turn away, leaving the divine strategy for your life unfinished? It would deeply grieve my heart to see you abandon this briefing just before I reveal how to stand strong. The most critical instructions are yet to come. You have heard my command to anchor your soul and let go of fear. Now, in this divine emergency, I call you to become an instrument that breaks fear's chains for others. If the desire to see this light pierce the anxiety of another lost soul is stirring within you, know that it is my spirit calling you to act. Every seed of support you sow becomes a river of my peace, flowing into hearts paralyzed by the world's terrifying reports. I declare over you my promise. Test me in this and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. The hour is late, and this word is the manna for those starving from fear. As you give, I will rebuke the devourer for your sake, and your own life will become a testimony of my provision. Answer this emergency call now. Release my hope to the nations by giving through Super Thanks, becoming a member, or using the PayPal link in the description. My child, in the midst of this emergency, your old methods of communication with me will no longer be sufficient. The surface level, ritualistic prayers you have relied on will not sustain you in the days ahead. Does your prayer life feel like a duty, a box to be checked on your spiritual to-do list? Do you find yourself repeating the same empty phrases, your mind wandering, your heart feeling distant? Do you sometimes feel guilty because you don't pray long enough or eloquently enough? I am here to release you from that religious burden. I am not looking for performance in prayer. I am looking for connection. I am drawing you out of the shallows of formal religion and into the deep waters of intimate, conversational prayer. I am calling you into the secret place, into a raw and real relationship with your Creator. Your prayer closet, whether it is a physical room or simply the quiet sanctuary of your own heart, is about to become your command center. It is not a place of retreat from the world, but the very place where you will be empowered to engage with the world. It is in these moments of intimate communion that you will receive your daily instructions, your divine strategy for the challenges you face. It is where I will download my wisdom into your spirit, showing you how to navigate complex situations at work and at home. It is where you will receive the emotional and spiritual strength to carry out your assignments for the day. Without this daily connection, you will be operating on your own limited understanding and strength, and you will quickly become exhausted and overwhelmed. Your survival and your effectiveness depends on this lifeline. What am I looking for in this secret place? I am not listening for your eloquent words. I am listening for the honest cries of your heart. I already know what you need before you ask, but I long to hear it from you. I want you to tell me about your frustrations, your disappointments, your secret fears. Stop editing your prayers. Stop trying to sound spiritual. If you are angry, tell me you are angry. If you are confused, tell me you are confused. A single, honest word like help, whispered from a place of desperation, is more powerful to me than 1,000 beautifully crafted but insincere prayers. It is in your vulnerability that my strength can flow. The power and effectiveness of my church in this new era will not be measured by the size of its congregations or the quality of its programs, but by its devotion to fervent, persistent, and intimate prayer. So I invite you now, forget the formulas. Forget the preter. Just talk to me. I am right here, and I am listening. I know that in the midst of all this shaking, you have felt a profound sense of spiritual loneliness. You look at the landscape of what is called church, and you feel like you don't quite fit. The conversations feel shallow, the priorities seem misplaced, and your spirit longs for a depth and authenticity that you rarely find. You have felt misunderstood, perhaps even isolated, for seeing the world through a different lens. You have felt the urgency while others seem to be asleep. Let me tell you now, that feeling of being an outsider was not a rejection. It was your training ground. I have been intentionally preserving a people for myself, a remnant who have not bowed their knees to the idols of this age, not the obvious idols of gold, but the subtle idols of comfort, of cultural acceptance, and of religious pride. This remnant is not defined by a denomination, a building, or a famous leader. They are defined by one thing alone: their unreserved, wholehearted, desperate devotion to me. I have been training you in obscurity for reason. You have learned to hear my voice in the silence, not in the applause. You have learned to find your worth in my eyes alone, not in the approval of a crowd. You have been through fires that have burned away your desire for a platform, and you have been in deserts that have stripped you of your self-reliance. While others were building their ministries, I was building your character. And now, the season of your hiddenness is coming to an end. I am calling my remnant from the caves and the quiet places to the forefront of this spiritual emergency. You are not being called to a stage, but to the front lines of a battle. You will not carry a title, but you will carry my glory, the tangible weight of my presence. It will not be in your polished speeches, but in your quiet humility that my authority will flow through you. The world is accustomed to power that is loud, arrogant, and self-promoting. The power you will walk in is the opposite. It is a power that kneels to wash feet, a power that speaks truth with love, a power that is made perfect in the middle of your admitted weakness. I am commanding you now to open your spiritual eyes and find them. Your season of isolation is over. As you walk in obedience, I will supernaturally connect you with others who have been through the same training. You will recognize each other not by a secret handshake, but by the familiar accent of the language of heaven, by the shared hunger for my presence, by the same fire you see burning in their eyes. Link arms with them. The enemy has kept you scattered and isolated because he knows that in your unity, there is a strength that terrifies him. A single ember can be easily extinguished, but when embers are brought together, they create a blazing fire. You will share your resources. You will bear one another's burdens. You will confess your struggles and find strength in your shared honesty. This is not a social club. This is a divine army being activated. So, let go of the pain of past spiritual disappointments. Ask me to lead you to your tribe, and I will. For the work ahead is too great to be done alone. The rise of my remnant is here. As you link arms with my remnant and find your footing on the shaking ground, I must now turn your attention outward. It is so easy to become consumed by the chaos, to be fixated on the collapsing systems and the rising darkness. It is tempting to go into a mode of pure spiritual survival, to focus only on protecting yourself and your own. But I am telling you, that is a deceptive trap of the enemy. The purpose of your awakening, your sifting, and your strengthening is not for you alone. It is for the harvest. Look out, my child, with my eyes. The fields are whiter, more ready for harvest than at any other time in history. Every tremor that shakes a person's life, every worldly security that fails them, every fear that grips their heart, is my mercy, tilling the soil of their soul, making them ready to receive the seed of my truth. The hearts that were once hard and self-sufficient are now broken and searching. The people who once mocked your faith are now silently, desperately looking for an anchor in their storm. Do not be distracted by the political turmoil. Do not be consumed by the frightening headlines. Those are the winds that are shaking the trees, and the shaking is causing the ripe fruit to fall. Your mission, in this emergency, is singular. You are to be a harvester. And I want to speak directly to the feeling of inadequacy that rises in you when you hear this. You think, but I don't have the right words. I'm not a theologian. My own life is still a mess. Let me be clear. Your greatest qualification is not your perfection. It is your testimony. You are uniquely qualified to speak to the broken because you yourself have been broken. You can offer my grace to the sinner because you know how much you need it yourself. You can bring my hope to the hopeless because you remember what it felt like to be in that pit. Stop waiting to be perfect. Your story of my faithfulness in the midst of your imperfection is the most powerful tool I have given you. I am calling you to be my hands, my feet, and my voice to a world that is lost, hurting, and dying. This is not a job reserved for a select few. Every single one of my children is a harvester. When you are at the grocery store, see the cashier not as an obstacle in your busy day, but as a soul I love. When your neighbor is struggling, do not just offer a polite prayer. Bring them a meal, listen to their pain, and be my presence to them. The time is desperately short. The eternal destiny of people you see every single day hangs in the balance. I am not asking you to be obnoxious or religious. I am asking you to be love. Let my love flow through you with such authenticity and power that people are drawn to it, that they ask you for the reason for the hope that you have. Do not get so caught up in bracing for the storm that you forget why I have left you in the field. It is for the harvest. Oh, my beloved, as the urgency of the hour increases, so will the intensity of the spiritual battle. The enemy knows his time is short, and his final strategy is not one of overt force, but of widespread deception. A powerful delusion, a thick and alluring fog of half-truths and compelling lies, will sweep across the earth. It will be so subtle, so intelligent, and so appealing to the desires of the human heart that it will deceive even the very astute, those who consider themselves spiritually wise. It will come through charismatic personalities who perform great signs and wonders but do not know me. It will come through teachings that tickle the ear, promising success without sacrifice, a crown without a cross, and a kingdom without a king. It will twist my words to justify sin and to accommodate the shifting values of a fallen world. And you must be prepared to stand against it. I must be painfully clear with you. Your intelligence will not protect you. Your past experiences will not be enough. Your good intentions will not be a sufficient shield. There is only one safeguard, one anchor that will hold you firm in this storm of deception. You must be absolutely saturated in my word. It cannot be a book you occasionally read. It must become the very lens through which you see all of reality. It is your plumb line for truth, your unchanging standard against which every spirit, every prophecy, and every teaching must be tested. When you hear a new idea, your first question must not be, does this sound good? Or does this make me feel good? Your first question must be, does this align with the whole counsel of Scripture? To do this, you must know my word. Not just your favorite verses, but the full story, from Genesis to Revelation. This is not optional. It is a matter of spiritual life and death. I am commanding you to do something very specific. Stop following charismatic personalities and start following my Holy Spirit. A person can be gifted, eloquent, and draw huge crowds and still be leading people astray. I am not telling you to be cynical, but to be discerning. Do not outsource your spiritual thinking to anyone else, no matter how anointed they may seem. Learn to test the spirits. Does the message glorify me or the messenger? Does it lead you to a deeper dependence on me or on a human system? Does it produce the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, or does it produce pride, division, and fear? I will grant supernatural discernment to all who humbly and desperately ask for it. Cling to the simplicity and the purity of the gospel, the good news that you are a sinner, saved by my grace alone, through faith in the finished work of my Son, Jesus. That simple truth is the power of salvation, and it will be your unshakable anchor in the storm of deception that is now breaking upon the world. Do not be moved. My child, listen. In the midst of the shaking and the sifting, a new sound is beginning to rise. It is not a new style of music or a new set of cleverly written songs. It is the sound of authentic worship, forged in the fires of trial and purified from all performance. For too long, your worship hath been confined to a Sunday morning service. You have learned to equate it with a specific emotional experience, a feeling you try to replicate week after week. You have felt the pressure to raise your hands, to close your eyes, to look the part, even when your heart is numb and your mind is a million miles away. I am releasing you from that pressure. I am calling you to discover a worship that is not dependent on a stage, a band, or an atmosphere created by man. I am calling you to release the new sound that is already inside you. This new sound is the sound of pure, unadulterated surrender. It is the sound of you, alone in your car, stuck in traffic, whispering, "I trust you," when everything in your life feels like it's falling apart. It is the sound of a tear of gratitude hitting the floor as you stand in your kitchen, overwhelmed not by your circumstances, but by the reality of my love for you. It is the sound of victory, a defiant declaration of praise shouted in the face of an impossible diagnosis or a financial crisis. It is the intimate sound of a heart that loves its King more than it loves its own comfort. This worship is not for an audience. It requires no microphone. It is the raw, unfiltered, honest conversation of your spirit with mine. It is the most beautiful sound in all of creation. This worship will become your greatest weapon. When the spirit of heaviness and despair tries to settle upon you, you will not fight it with your own willpower. You will open your mouth and begin to praise me. As you declare who I am, my goodness, my power, my faithfulness, the atmosphere around you will literally change. The darkness will be forced to flee. My tangible presence will come and inhabit your praises, and where my presence is, there is liberty. I am commanding you to let this new sound erupt from your spirit. Let it be the first thing on your lips in the morning and the last thing at night, Let it fill your home. Let it change the way you see your challenges. Do not wait until you feel like it. Praise is not a response to a feeling. It is a declaration of faith that creates a new feeling. It is the sound of heaven breaking through into your reality. Release it now. I am waiting to inhabit the praises of my people, and through your worship, I will release my glory on the earth. We have journeyed into the very heart of your mission, your prayer, your community, your role in the harvest. My spirit aches to now show you how I will supernaturally provide for and protect you through it all. To stop listening would be to treat my promise of provision lightly. Do not break this holy trust. Stay, and let me show you my faithfulness. Now let's talk about something very practical that is weighing heavily on your heart: your provision. The fear of not having enough is a constant, low-grade hum of anxiety in the background of your life. Every time you pay a bill, every time you go to the grocery store, every time you think about the future, that fear tries to grip you. As you see the world's financial system shaking, that fear intensifies. You are tempted to hoard, to hold on tighter to what you have, to put your trust in your savings account or your retirement plan. I am speaking to you today to completely rewire your understanding of provision. In the coming days, I will provide for you supernaturally, in ways that defy all natural logic and economic principles. Your survival will not depend on your bank account. It will depend on your obedience. I need you to start looking for my provision to come from the most unexpected sources. You are looking at your job as your one and only source, but I have 1,000 different ways to provide for you that you have never even imagined. It might come as an unexpected check in the mail. It might come as a debt that is suddenly and miraculously canceled. It might come in the form of a neighbor showing up at your door with the exact groceries you needed. You must let go of your preconceived notions of how I will provide. Your job is not to figure out the how. Your job is to stay in a posture of faith and expectation, knowing that I am your Jehovah Jireh, your provider. And the key that unlocks these storehouses of heaven is not your striving, but your obedience. When I prompt you to give, you must give. When I ask you to sow a seed, even from the little you have, you must sow it. This is the principle that will be critical for your survival. In my kingdom, generosity will not deplete you. It will position you directly under an open heaven. The world's logic says, when things are tight, hold on. My logic says, when things are tight, sow. This requires a radical trust that goes against every instinct of your flesh. You must learn the principle of the raven, who brought food to my prophet in the wilderness. You must learn the principle of the widow's jar of oil, which never ran out because she first obeyed the man of God and made him a cake from the last of what she had. I am not a formula, but I am a faithful God who responds to the faith-filled obedience of his children. Stop hoarding your resources, your time, and your money out of fear. Begin to see yourself as a channel of my blessing, not a reservoir. As you allow my resources to flow through you, I will ensure that the flow to you never ceases. Do not trust in earthly wealth, which is fleeting and can be lost in a moment. Invest your life and your resources in that which has eternal value. This is my promise to you. You will lack no good thing. My child, let us speak plainly about the world you are living in. You feel it every single day, don't you? A coldness that is seeping into everything. You see it in the angry comments on the internet. You hear it in the divisive political rhetoric. You feel it in the strained conversations even within your own family. There is a hardness, a brittleness in the hearts of people that is growing. Love, as the world defines it, has become transactional and conditional. It is a love that is given only when it is convenient, only when it is returned, and it is quickly withdrawn at the first sign of offense. Your spirit has grown weary of this shallow, selfish love. It has left you feeling empty and, at times, deeply cynical about the possibility of genuine connection. I am telling you now, in the midst of this growing cold, your greatest strategy, your most powerful weapon, and your most undeniable witness will not be the force of your arguments or the perfection of your theology. It will be your fervent, radical, and supernatural love. When I command you to love your enemies, I know what a staggering and seemingly impossible thing that is. I am not talking about a vague, sentimental feeling toward nameless people on the other side of the world. I am talking about that person whose name makes your stomach clench. That coworker who is actively trying to make your life difficult. That family member whose words feel like a constant stream of criticism and judgment. That person who betrayed you so deeply the wound still feels fresh. Your flesh, your sense of justice, your every human instinct cries out to protect yourself, to build a wall, to retaliate, to prove them wrong. But I am calling you to a higher, more powerful way. I am asking you to bless them, not with your words only, but in the quiet posture of your heart. When their name comes to mind, instead of replaying the offense, ask me to pour out a blessing upon them. Pray for their well-being, for their eyes to be opened, for them to encounter the very same love that you have received from me. This is not for them, it is for your freedom. This kind of love is a profound mystery to the watching world. They understand retaliation. They understand holding a grudge. They do not understand mercy. They do not understand grace given to the undeserving. When they see you respond to insult with kindness, to injustice with prayer, to hatred with a love that does not demand anything in return, it will be a magnet. It will be so utterly alien to the way the world operates that it will confound them, and it will draw the searching hearts to you, wanting to know the source of your strength. This love will be the solvent that breaks down the walls of division that the enemy has worked so hard to build, walls of race, of politics, of social status. It is a love that must be practical. It is not enough to say, "I love you." Love is bringing a meal to the neighbor you disagree with. Love is listening without judgment to someone whose life choices you don't understand. Love is choosing to see the person I created behind the brokenness that is causing them to lash out. This is my great commandment, and in this hour of emergency, it is your most effective strategy. Let me love through you. It is the only light that will pierce the coming darkness. As you begin to walk in this radical love, you must also be prepared for the world's reaction to it. The time is coming, and is already here, when the world's tolerance for a true, uncompromising faith will rapidly diminish. You have already felt the subtle shifts, haven't you? That moment at work when you chose integrity and were quietly labeled as rigid or not a team player. The awkward silence that falls over a room when you mention your relationship with me. The feeling of being on the outside of a conversation because you cannot join in the gossip or the cynical humor. You have been made to feel naive, old-fashioned, even bigoted, simply for holding to the truth of my word. This is not your imagination. This is the beginning of the pressure that will be applied to all who refuse to bow to the spirit of this age. The pressure to compromise, to soften my truth, to blend in, will become immense. I must tell you plainly, this pressure will increase. The misunderstanding will turn into marginalization, and the marginalization may turn into open opposition. You will be persecuted for my name's sake. Now, hear those words and do not let fear take root. My purpose in telling you this is not to frighten you, but to prepare you, so that when it happens, you will not be surprised or shaken. In fact, I have a command for you that is so counterintuitive it will sound like madness to the world. I want you to rejoice in the day when you are misunderstood for your faith, when you are mocked for your purity, when you are excluded for your allegiance to me. your spirit is to rejoice. Why? Because you are sharing in my sufferings, and because your reward in heaven is great. Every insult you endure for me is a jewel being placed in your eternal crown. You are identifying with a long line of saints and prophets who were treated the same way. It is a badge of honor, a sign that you are on the right path. I will not leave you to face this alone. When you are called to give an account for the hope that is in you, do not rehearse your speeches or worry about what you will say. In that very hour, I will give you the words to speak. My spirit will flow through you with a wisdom and an authority that your opponents will not be able to refute. Your patient endurance will be one of the most powerful testimonies you will ever have. The world expects you to crumble under pressure, to lash out in anger, to become bitter and resentful. When you instead respond with a quiet grace, with a peace that transcends your circumstances, and with a continued love for your persecutors, it will be a sign and a wonder. They will see that your source of strength is not of this world. And always remember this: they hated me before they hated you. The servant is not greater than the master. The rejection you face is not truly about you. It is a rejection of me in you. So stand firm, my beloved. Do not be ashamed. And know that I am standing right there with you, proud to call you my own. Now, my child, I want you to pause. Take a deep breath. Feel the tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your jaw, the frantic pace of your thoughts. The very nature of an emergency is that it triggers a response of striving, of frantic activity, of trying to control the uncontrollable. You hear my words about persecution, about the harvest, about the coming changes, and your first instinct is to gear up, to work harder, to do more. You think spiritual survival is about gritting your teeth and pushing through with sheer willpower. But I am here to tell you that this approach will lead you straight to burnout, to exhaustion, and to despair. In the very midst of this divine emergency, one of the most critical skills you must learn is how to enter into my rest. This is not the world's definition of rest, which is simply the absence of activity. It is not about taking a vacation or binge watching a show to numb your mind. Divine rest is not inactivity. It is a deep, abiding, soul-level trust that I am in sovereign control of every detail of your life and of all of history. It is a ceasing of your own frantic efforts and a conscious reliance on my strength. You have been carrying burdens you were never meant to carry. The weight of your family's future, the pressure of your financial situation, the anxiety about the state of the world. You have been trying to manage it all in your own strength, and it is crushing you. My invitation to you today is this: come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This is not a suggestion, it is a command, and it is the key to your endurance. I want you to learn the Sabbath principle not as a religious rule, but as a vital key to your survival. It is the practice of intentionally setting aside a time to cease from your own labors and to simply be in my presence. It is turning off your phone, stepping away from the endless to-do list, and allowing your soul to be recalibrated to the rhythm of my grace. It is in this place of quietness and confidence that you will find your true strength. Your most effective spiritual work will not be done in a flurry of activity, but in the stillness of surrender. When you are rested in me, you can work from a place of peace, not panic. You can respond to crises with wisdom, not reaction. You can face the future with hope, not dread. So, I asked you, what are you striving for right now? What problem are you trying to solve in your own power? In this moment, I want you to consciously let it go. Unclench your fists, release your grip, and allow me, the God of the universe, to work mightily on your behalf. Enter my rest. It is the safest and most powerful place you can be. My beloved, as you learn to walk in love, to endure with joy, and to operate from a place of divine rest. You are preparing yourself for the ultimate purpose of this emergency. You are consecrating yourself to become a vessel for the revelation of my glory. For generations, my manifest presence hath been something that my people have visited, an experience confined to a special meeting, a specific time, or a particular place. You have gone to a building on a Sunday to enter into my presence. But that is about to change in a way that will redefine everything. The deepest desire of my heart has always been not just to be with my people, but to be in them. I am seeking to fill you, my child, and all of my remnant, with my glory as the waters cover the sea. What is this glory? It is not an emotional high or a display of goosebumps. It is the tangible weight, the manifest reality of my presence. It is my character, my power, and my love, not just surrounding you, but radiating from you. When my glory fills a vessel, it changes everything. It will bring a deep, and at times uncomfortable, conviction of sin. The subtle compromises you once tolerated will become utterly unbearable in the light of my holiness. But this conviction is not to bring you shame. It is to lead you to a deeper freedom. This glory will bring profound and instantaneous healing, not just to your physical body, but to the deep, hidden wounds of your soul, the rejections, the traumas, the brokenness that you have carried for a lifetime. It will bring a radical transformation to your very character. The areas of your personality that have been so resistant to change, your impatience, your fear, your critical spirit, will begin to melt away in the fire of my presence. This glory, this weightiness of my presence, is something the world has no answer for. They can replicate emotion. They can manufacture excitement. They cannot replicate my glory. It is utterly unique, undeniably real, and irresistibly compelling. A person filled with my glory will walk into a room, and without saying a word, the spiritual atmosphere will shift. Hope will enter with them. Peace will be their calling card. Love will be the air they breathe. This is not a futuristic promise. It is an imminent reality. And my question to you today is, are you willing to be a vessel? The process requires a deep consecration. It means surrendering every room of your heart to me, holding nothing back. It means choosing holiness not out of religious duty, but out of a passionate desire to be a pure and acceptable vessel, fit for the Master's use. The hope for the restoration of your family, your community, and your nation does not rest in a political solution. It rests in the revelation of my glory in you. Prepare yourself. I am coming to make my home in you in a way you have only dreamed of. I have just unveiled the profound mystery of my glory and the promise of my rest. We are at the very threshold of your complete equipping. My heart would break to see you turn away now, just before I give you the final keys to walk in supernatural wisdom and wholeness. Do not forsake this holy moment. You have heard my call to be a vessel for my glory, a living testament to my presence in this divine emergency. If your spirit leaps at the chance to pour this same transformative glory into another soul, then you have heard my invitation to partner in this great work. This message is the very oil for the lamps of those sitting in darkness, and your support is the hand that carries the flame to them before it is too late. I speak this promise over you now. The one who sows generously will also reap generously, and I will cause my goodness to overflow in your life. As you release what is in your hand, my glory will not only go forth, but it will also cover your own household. Consecrate your substance to this holy purpose. Send forth my glory by giving through super thanks, joining our members, or using the secure PayPal link below. My precious child, as I prepare to pour out my glory upon you, there is one primary strategy the enemy will use to try and stop it. It is the same strategy he has used from the very beginning, and it hath been tragically effective. Division. You will do everything in his power to keep you isolated, offended, and critical of your brothers and sisters in faith. He knows a profound spiritual principle that my own children have often forgotten. There is a unique and exponential power that is only released in the context of a unified body. If it could keep you, it can keep you. And so, in this hour of emergency, I am issuing one of the most urgent calls you will ever hear from me. I am calling you to contend for unity. This will require you to lay down things that you have held onto very tightly. You must lay down your petty doctrinal disputes. Yes, theological truth is important, but you have allowed secondary issues to become walls of separation between you and others who genuinely love my Son. You have broken fellowship over modes of baptism, over eschatological timelines, over styles of worship. The enemy has laughed as he has watched you major on the minors while the world perishes. You must lay down your personal agendas. You have been so focused on building your own little kingdom, your ministry, your reputation, your platform, that you have seen other believers as competition rather than collaborators. This is a poverty mindset, born of fear and insecurity. In my kingdom, another's success does not diminish yours. It adds to the collective strength of the whole body. A three-cord strand is not easily broken. There is a strength in fellowship that you cannot find in isolation. When you are weak, your brother will be strong for you. When you are discouraged, your sister will lift you up in prayer. When you are under attack, you will find refuge in the strength of your community. This is why my command is to bear one another's burdens, and in doing so, to fulfill the law of Christ, which is the law of love. This unity is not something you can manufacture through a program or a conference. It is a supernatural work of my Spirit that you must fiercely protect. It requires humility. It requires you to be quick to forgive. It requires you to believe the best about others, even when you are tempted to be suspicious. This unity will be the single greatest supernatural sign to a watching world that you are truly mine. They will see people from different races, different political parties, and different backgrounds loving each other with a fierce and loyal love, and they will know that only a supernatural power could accomplish such a thing. So I command you, stop criticizing your brother. Stop rehearsing their faults. Pick up the phone. Forgive the offense. Contend for the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. The release of my power depends on it. My beloved, I want to talk to you about your body, not the image you see in the mirror that you so often criticize, but the precious, miraculous vessel I designed to house your spirit and my presence. I see the toll that the stress and fear of this world have taken on you. You carry the tension in your neck and shoulders like a heavy yoke. You lie awake at night, your mind racing with worries, and you rise in the morning already feeling a weariness that is bone deep. You have been treating these things, the headaches, the stomach issues, the chronic fatigue, as purely physical problems, attacking them with worldly solutions that only skim the surface. But I am telling you today, the root of much of your physical suffering is spiritual and emotional. The peace of the world is fragile, and its absence is creating sickness. My peace, the peace I give you, is your divine antidote. I desire for you to prosper and to be in health, but you must understand that your physical health is profoundly connected to the health of your soul. A soul filled with anxiety and fear will eventually produce a sick and tired body. I want you to grasp the reality of what my Son accomplished for you. The ancient words are not a metaphor, they are a declaration of a finished work. By his stripes, you were healed. This healing is not something you have to beg for. It is a part of your inheritance that you must learn to walk in. Walking in it begins in your mind and with your words. When a symptom of sickness tries to attack your body, your first response must not be fear, but faith. You must learn to speak to your body, to command it to align with the truth of my word. Instead of saying, "I am so sick," you must learn to declare, "My body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and no sickness can dwell here. By the stripes of Jesus, I was healed, therefore I am healed." This is not denying your symptoms. It is denying them the right to rule over you. It is elevating the truth of my promise above the facts of your current condition. Your body is listening to the words your spirit speaks. Your body is my temple. Think about that for a moment. The very same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead dwells within you. Therefore, you must honor me with it. This is not about a legalistic list of rules, but about wisdom. As you draw closer to me, I will begin to give you specific wisdom concerning your physical body. I will give you a quiet check in your spirit when you reach for food that harms your temple. I will give you a gentle nudge to go for a walk, to breathe fresh air, to honor the need for rest. Listen to these nudges. They are my loving instructions for your well-being. Stop treating your body like a machine that you can push to the breaking point. It is a sacred space, and I want it to be a strong and effective vessel for my glory. Your divine health is not a selfish pursuit. It is a crucial part of your witness. How can you bring my hope and energy to a weary world if you yourself are chronically exhausted and sick? I am calling you to partner with me. Surrender your anxieties to me. Receive my peace into your soul, and begin to walk in the wholeness that is already yours. Your healing begins now. My child, you are standing at the edge of a new and unfamiliar territory. The landscape of your world is changing so rapidly that it can feel disorienting, even frightening. The methods you have always relied on, the plans you have so carefully made, the maps you have used to navigate your life up to this point, they will no longer work. The old rules of success, of relationships, of ministry, are becoming obsolete. You feel this, don't you? A sense of being unprepared, of not knowing the right way to move forward. You look for advice, and you are flooded with the conflicting opinions of experts, each one shouting a different strategy. This confusion is a tool of the enemy to paralyze you. But I am here to give you a promise that cuts through all the noise. I will give you my wisdom, and I will give it to you liberally. Human wisdom is based on past experience and logical deduction. It is good what it is limited. It cannot see around corners. Divine wisdom, my wisdom, is based on an eternal perspective. I see the end from the beginning. I know the traps the enemy has set for you, and I know the hidden paths to blessing that you cannot see. In this new era, your survival and your success will depend not on a 5-year plan, but on moment-by-moment guidance from my Spirit. You must let go of your need to have the entire journey mapped out in advance. I will give you just enough light for the next step, and as you take that step in faith, light for the one after that will appear. This requires a level of trust that you may not be accustomed to, but it is the only way to walk in the center of my will. So how do you access this wisdom? It is simpler than you think. You must ask. But you must ask without doubting, believing that I am a good father who delights in guiding his children. Then, you must cultivate a posture to receive it. My word commands you to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. This is the practical blueprint for wisdom. When you are quick to speak, you are operating out of your own limited knowledge. When you are quick to become angry or frustrated, you are creating so much emotional and spiritual noise that you cannot possibly hear my quiet whisper. Wisdom is found in the pause. It is found in the stillness before you react. It is in that moment of taking a deep breath and whispering, "Spirit of God, what do I do here?" and I will answer. My wisdom is not harsh, critical, or confusing. It is pure. It is peace-loving. It is considerate and full of mercy. It does not create division. It brings reconciliation. When you begin to walk in this wisdom, you will see solutions where everyone else only sees problems. You will become a source of profound stability and hope to the confused and frightened people around you. They will be drawn to the calm in your spirit, and you will have the opportunity to point them to its source. My beloved, in the very center of your spirit, beneath all the layers of daily concerns and worldly anxieties, I have placed a deep and holy longing. It is a longing for a world made new, a world without tears, without pain, without injustice. It is the echo of Eden in your soul. This longing is not a fantasy. It is a promise, and it finds its ultimate fulfillment in the blessed hope of the glorious appearing of your Savior, my Son, Jesus Christ. I am speaking to you about His return now, not to give you a chart of dates and times, for that knowledge belongs to me alone, but to recenter your heart on the most glorious and motivating truth in all of history. The King is coming. For many, this truth has become either a source of fear-based obsession or a dusty theological concept with no practical bearing on their daily lives. I am calling you to a different way. The reality of His imminent return is not your ticket to escape from a difficult world. It is your fuel to engage with it more purposefully than ever before. This hope is not a reason for escapism. It is the ultimate motivation for a holy and urgent life. When you truly live with the awareness that He could return at any moment, it radically purifies your heart and your priorities. That secret sin you have been tolerating suddenly becomes abhorrent. That silly argument you are having with your spouse becomes utterly insignificant. The desire to accumulate more earthly possessions is replaced by a burning desire to invest in things of eternal value. The reality of His return is a divine filter that clarifies what truly matters. I have given you a command for this season: occupy until He comes. This is not a passive waiting. It is an active and faithful stewardship. I have given you a measure of time, of talent, of treasure, and of influence. I have placed you in a family, a workplace, and a community. These are the fields I have assigned to you. The expectation is that when the Master returns, He will find you faithfully working your field, investing your talents for the increase of His kingdom. The signs of the times that you see converging around you, the turmoil, the deception, the growing darkness, are not meant to be a source of fear for you. For my children, they are a cause for hope. They are the contractions that herald the imminent birth of a new age. They are the footsteps of your approaching King. They are my loving reminders to you, saying, "Look up, for your redemption is drawing near." And so, I give you this final, urgent instruction for today. Keep your lamp full of oil. The oil is your intimate, personal, anointing-filled relationship with me. It is the fruit of your time spent in the secret place. You cannot borrow it from someone else at the last minute. It must be your own. Live every moment of every day in the joyful and sober awareness that this could be the day. This blessed hope will be the joy that is your strength and the fire that fuels your mission. My child, I have seen every injustice you have suffered. I have heard every cry from your heart when you have been overlooked, taken advantage of, or treated unfairly. You have watched as the arrogant seem to prosper, while the humble are trodden down. You have seen dishonesty rewarded, while integrity seems to go unnoticed. A sense of weariness has settled upon you, a feeling that the game is rigged and that nothing will ever truly be made right. I am speaking to you now to declare a truth that will be the anchor for your soul in these confusing times. I am a God of justice, and the season of my divine reversals is at hand. I am about to overturn the tables of injustice and oppression, both on a global scale and in the intricate details of your own life. You must understand a foundational principle of my kingdom, one that is the complete opposite of the world system. In my kingdom, the way up is down. The last will be first, and the first will be last. Those who have been humbled, who have been broken before me, who have served in obscurity without any need for recognition, I am about to exalt them. Those who have been proud, who have built their own kingdoms on the backs of others, who have trusted in their own strength and intelligence, I will bring them low. This is not an act of random cruelty. It is the re-establishment of my divine order. This reversal is coming, and it will be swift and it will be thorough. The structures that seem so powerful and permanent will be revealed as hollow shells, and the quiet, faithful, hidden ones will be revealed as the true pillars of my house. I want to speak a very specific promise into the wounds of your past. There are years of your life that you look back on with regret, years that you feel were stolen from you by sin, by a bad relationship, by a dead-end situation, by the actions of others. You see them as wasted years. But I am the God who can redeem time. I promise you, I will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. I will take the pain, the wisdom gained through suffering, the character forged in the fire of that difficult season, and I will use it for your good and my glory. Nothing is wasted in my economy. The very things that you thought had disqualified you are the very things I will use to qualify you for your next assignment. I will turn your greatest tests into your most profound testimonies. The shame you carried will be replaced with a double portion of honor. The pain you endured will become the source of your compassion and the authority with which you minister to others who are hurting. So watch, my beloved. Do not despair at the apparent victory of the wicked. Do not be discouraged by your lowly position. The tables are about to turn. The humble are about to be lifted up. And everything that was stolen from you is about to be restored in a way that will leave you breathless with wonder. We have reached the culmination, the final promises of divine reversal and the imminent hope of my Son's return. All of heaven has leaned in to witness this moment. To leave now would be to walk away from your own commissioning, to leave your final garments of praise unclaimed. Do not grieve me in this last hour. Stay, and be sealed for what is to come. My precious one, let's talk about the heaviness that so often tries to settle upon your spirit. It is a familiar feeling, isn't it? It's not always a sharp pain, but more of a dull, gray blanket that covers everything. It's that sense of dread you feel when you wake up, that emotional exhaustion that makes even the smallest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. It whispers lies to you. Nothing will ever change. What's the point of trying? You will always feel this way. The spirit of heaviness is one of the enemy's most effective tools to neutralize my children, to rob them of their joy and their strength. But I have not left you defenseless against it. I am offering you a divine exchange, a supernatural wardrobe change. I am giving you a garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Now, you must understand what this means. A garment is something you choose to put on. It is not a feeling that you wait for. It is an action that you take. When you wake up and that familiar heaviness is upon you, you have a choice. You can surrender to it, allowing it to dictate your day, or you can intentionally and defiantly put on your garment of praise. How do you do this? You open your mouth. Even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it, you begin to speak my goodness. You start to thank me. You thank me for the breath in your lungs. You thank me for the roof over your head. You thank me for my Son, for my forgiveness, for my promises. As you begin to praise me, something powerful happens in the spiritual realm. Praise is a declaration of faith that confuses the enemy. He expects you to complain in your hardship, and when you praise instead, it shatters his power over your emotions. Praise is what enthrones me in the middle of your situation. It is you, a citizen of heaven, declaring that the reality of my goodness is more real than the reality of your current trouble. Your joy, my child, must not be dependent on your circumstances. The world's happiness is a fragile thing, based on happenings. If things are going well, you are happy. If they are not, you are unhappy. I am calling you to a deeper reality. My joy is a fruit of my spirit, and it can flourish even in the darkest night of the soul. It is a deep, abiding contentment that is rooted not in what is happening around you, but in who I am within you. This is why praise is so critical. It is the act of recentering your focus from your problems to your God. A joyful heart is truly good medicine. It will heal your soul. It will strengthen your body, and it will sustain you through the coming changes. So I command you, cultivate a lifestyle of gratitude. In all things give thanks. This is not a suggestion for a happier life. This is your spiritual survival strategy. Put on your garment of praise. It hath been tailor-made for you. My child, as we speak of these great and weighty things, I see a question forming in your heart. You are thinking, but what is my part in all of this? I am just one person. My life is small. You feel the immense darkness covering the earth, the confusion, the fear, and you feel insignificant in the face of it. You look at your own struggles, your own inconsistencies, and you feel utterly disqualified from making any real difference. This, my beloved, is where you must see yourself as I see you. As the world around you grows colder and the shadows lengthen, my light in you is not meant to diminish. It is destined to shine with a brilliance that defies the darkness. You are not a hidden flicker. You are a city set on a hill that cannot, and must not, be hidden. Your role is not to single-handedly solve the world's problems. It is much simpler and far more powerful. Your role is to be a beacon of hope. What does this look like in your everyday life? It is not about having all the answers or projecting an image of perfect, unshakable faith. In fact, it is the opposite. It is in your acknowledged weakness that my strength is most clearly seen. When your coworker is panicking about the economy, the hope in you is the quiet peace that allows you to listen to their fears without absorbing them yourself. When a family gathering descends into anxious, angry debate, the hope in you is the gentle word that diffuses the tension, the refusal to get drawn into the spirit of division. People will be drawn to you not because you are perfect, but because you are different. They will see you facing the same pressures they are facing, the same uncertainties, the same challenges, yet they will see a light in your eyes that they cannot explain. They will feel a peace in your presence that they are starving for. And they will ask. Sooner or later, someone will turn to you and ask, "How are you staying so calm through all of this? What is the reason for the hope that you have?" You must be ready for that moment. And being ready does not mean preparing a sermon. It means being prepared to share your story with gentleness and with respect. It means being ready to say, "I'm not calm because my circumstances are perfect. I'm at peace because I know the one who holds my circumstances in his hands. You are my ambassador." Think of what that means. An ambassador doesn't represent their own opinions. They carry the message of their king. You are carrying a message of reconciliation into a world that is at war with itself and with me. Every act of kindness, every moment of patience, every word of truth spoken in love is a diplomatic mission on behalf of the kingdom of heaven. Your life itself is becoming a living sermon, a message more powerful than any words you could ever speak. It is a sermon that points the way home, a sermon that says, even in the darkest night, there is a light, and that light is a person, and he can be known. Do not hide. Do not be ashamed. Let your light shine. We have covered so much, my child. Your heart may feel overwhelmed, your mind racing with all that I have told you. You feel the weight of this divine emergency, the urgency of the hour. And now, I want to distill all of this down into one final, simple, and powerful instruction that will be your guide for every moment of every day that lies ahead. After you have heard all these things, after you have cleansed your heart, forgiven your offenders, and received my anointing, there are 3 things you must do: stand, watch, and pray. This is not a complicated formula, it is your lifeline. It is your posture for victory. First, having done all, you are to stand. This is not a passive stance. It is a position of defiant faith. After the battle, after the struggle, after you have put on the armor I have provided, you are to plant your feet firmly on the ground of my finished work. The enemy will throw everything he has at you to try and knock you off your feet. Waves of doubt, winds of adversity, fiery arrows of accusation. But you are not to be moved. Why? Because you are not standing on the sinking sand of your own feelings or circumstances. You are standing on the unshakable rock of my word. To stand means that when every voice around you is screaming panic, you remain rooted in my promises. When every feeling inside you wants to run and hide, you hold your ground in the truth of who I am. It is the quiet, stubborn refusal to be shaken. Do not be moved by what you see with your eyes. Be moved only by what I have spoken with my mouth. Second, you must watch. This does not mean anxiously scanning the horizon for the next disaster. That is the world's version of watching, and it only produces fear. To watch, in my kingdom, means to be spiritually alert. It is the posture of a watchman on the city wall. You are not looking for the enemy's victory. You are looking for his strategy, so that you are not caught unaware. You are watching with all perseverance, aware of the spiritual season you are in. It means paying attention to the quiet nudges of my spirit. It means discerning the subtle dissections that are trying to infiltrate your thinking. You are watching for the doors I am opening and the ones I am closing. You are watching for the divine appointments I am arranging for you each day. This is an active, engaged attentiveness, a refusal to be lulled into the spiritual slumber that has overtaken so many. Be alert, be sober, for your adversary is real, but your king is on the move. And finally, my beloved, you must pray. Pray without ceasing. This is not a call to a religious duty. It is the secret to your very breath. Prayer is your lifeline to me, your constant and open line of communication to your command center. It is where you receive your strength, your wisdom, your peace, and your daily instructions. It is where you remind your own soul that you are not in control, but you are known and loved by the one who is. Your prayers in this season are not just requests. They are declarations of war against the darkness. They are the exercise of your God-given authority. And above all, your prayer is the simple, continuous conversation of your heart with mine. Do not make it complicated. Just talk to me. Through it all, rest in this final, ultimate promise, the one that holds all the others together. The victory is already won, and I am with you always, even to the very end of the age. Be not afraid, only believe. You have received my final instruction for this emergency, to stand, watch, and pray. If you are ready to move from hearing to doing, I now commission you to take your post on the wall as a watchman for the souls of others. Your support is not a donation. It is an arrow of light you are sending into the darkness, a supply of oil for the lamps of those whose faith is flickering in this final hour. Heed my living promise. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. As you obey this command, I will be the watchman over your own household, and my provision will not fail you. Take your stand for the sake of the lost. Fulfill your watchman's duty now by giving through super thanks, becoming a member, or using the PayPal link in the description. The great shaking has begun, and your response is your testimony. Do not let this moment pass in silence. Let the world and all of heaven witness your awakening in this divine emergency. I call you now to take your stand. Go to the space below and declare with your own hand for the darkness to hear and tremble. I am awake. Let the change begin. Your words are a banner of faith raised in this critical hour, and I will honor the one who stands with me. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.